Well. We are going to do Cowboys After Dark tonight. And if you don't catch this tonight, you'll catch it in the morning. But we are going to talk some more Cowboys tonight. Didn't get a chance to yesterday, but we're going to do it again tonight. And we got some great topics for tonight. At least I believe we do. We have some great topics for tonight on this late night Cowboys. And whether there'll be 10 or 10,000, we are going to talk the Cowboys tonight for at least 2 hours. At least 2 hours. So, for all you late night folk, whenever you catch this, let me give you the topics for tonight. We're going to go back through this thing with Bryan Broaddus. We didn't get a chance to do this the other day. We're going to look at Bryan Broaddus as he goes through the undrafted. I got UFAs. Hold on a second here. Let me correct this real quick. It's undrafted free agents. You know, actually it would be UFAs, wouldn't it? Because undrafted is one word. But I guess we do it as kind of abbreviated as 4 words. Undrafted free agents. All right. So we're going to talk about these undrafted free agents that Bryan Broaddus has brought to our attention. I'm going to show you, if you hadn't seen the video I did today, we're going to go through some more of the Michael Irvin reacting to George Pickens. I think he said some very interesting things, and based on what he said, I actually want to look at some stats. So we're going to look at that. I also want to look at Bill O'Brien on 105.3 The Fan. He talks about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm thinking it's the Dallas Cowboys draft. So we're going to look at what he had to say about the Dallas Cowboys draft. Then we'll come to some conclusions. We'll come to a conclusion, and we'll talk about a few other things maybe. We'll see what comes up. But again, tonight, we're going to be talking about Broaddus and the UDFAs. We're going to be looking at Irvin reacts, Bill O'Brien reacts, and then we're gonna conclude probably in about 2 hours. I know some of y'all are getting ready for church tomorrow, Mother's Day, and Mother's Day dinners and everything else. So again, welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Best Talk Cowboys, and we talk facts. And if you like this video, this live stream as you come in, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. So you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member already, please do. We have a lot of great things coming. And so again, our topics for tonight: Broaddus and the undrafted free agents, Irvin reacts, Bill O'Brien reacts, and then our conclusion. And then for all you late night folks, we're going to do us a quick roll call, and then we're going to get right into our topics. Let's do this. Let's do it. Let's see who up late at night. For all them late night folks, let's go. My man, Jared. Exactly, G. More moves are coming. No doubt about it. Let's go. JS2 in the crib. He said play some John Coltrane. Yes, sir. I see you. Texas boy in the crib. What's up? What's up tonight? Call me Jimmy. Let's go. Oak Cliff Rockefeller. Yes, sir. Well. He said we need more weapons on both sides. Hey, we'll look at that tonight. My brother Roger, what's going on? Is it late night or early for you over there in Florida? What's going on? Lisa Worley, what's going on with you? George, Cowboys for life. What's up? The 70s fan in the crib. He said happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there for sure. Doug, Nina Howell, what's going on? Did Doug say bring Christian McCaffrey to Dallas? Boy, they break the internet. They brought Christian McCaffrey to Dallas. Kevin Howard, what's going on? Marcus Rowe, what up? Randy Jackson, what's up? My man Alex, man, forgive me. I forgot to read your super chat on the last go around. But I'll make sure I keep your eyes open. Even if you don't do a super chat, keep my eyes open for your comments tonight. Man, I appreciate you. Alex said he's super hyped for this next season. Boy, me too. We have every reason to be hyped too. Sam Rios, what's good all the way from Camden, New Jersey? What up? Call me Jimmy. He said, I'm loving what them Cowboys been doing. Yeah, I love it. And they're still doing it too. Them boys, they doing their thing. Yup. What's going on? Jim Van Meter, what up, what up? Yes, sir. Well. Let's do this. Rufus, the Texridian. What's up? James, we them boys. What up? Samuel Porter, what's up? Stand up. This will be our biggest year yet, man. And hey, we just getting started, Samuel. People need to understand we just getting started with this roster. My man Jared, number one Dak Prescott fan. I'm number two. He said Dak Prescott is finally going to have a Super Bowl team soon, G, for sure. It's not just Jalen Hurts that can have that type of team. Dak can have that too. Yeah, by time. But I'm here for it. I am definitely here for it. Yes, sir. Let's go. All right, let's get this thing going. Dennis Hendricks, he said, let's get it. Let's go. Patrick Prescott, what's going on? Are you kidding the Dak Prescott? Patrick Prescott said, what moves are you guys hearing about? Alex said, it's all right, G. Keep doing your thing. Love everything you do. Appreciate it. Let's go. I see here. Coach Marv, Real Talk. What's up, my brother? Good to see you. James, Million. What up with you? Lil D Texas in the crib. What's up? Let's go, Cowboys. Greatness. He said, I'm hearing they're working on a Ramsey trade or DJ Reader trade. Man, let me tell you something. I can't even keep up no more with what the Cowboys are doing. All I know is they're not done. Now, it seems like the Jalen Ramsey trade. I've been hearing some things about the Jalen Ramsey trade just from all different angles. And it looks like they're having a hard time trying to get this deal. And it's not the Dallas Cowboys in particular, but it seems like they're having a hard time trying to get Jalen Ramsey traded. I mean, we really do have to understand, man, Jalen Ramsey could probably play safety for you. I'm not sure that Jalen Ramsey can play corner for you. I mean, we really have to be careful thinking he can play corner. But when you talk about the money with Jalen Ramsey, man, that's a lot. And so I don't think a lot of people are going to I think that's what's scaring a lot of people off is the money when it comes to Jalen Ramsey. Lisa said, I'm scared they're going to trade Tolbert, and this year was going to be his breakout year. I just feel it. I don't believe they're trading him. I do not believe they're trading him. Dak Prescott likes Jalen Tolbert. The Cowboys, the number 3 wide receiver is going to be so important. And I'm going to tell us, same thing I said about Trey Lance last year. Same thing I'm saying about Joe Milton this year. Same thing I'm saying about Jonathan Mingo. Do y'all remember the Cowboys gave Trey Lance every opportunity to put pressure on Dak Prescott, let alone beat out Cooper Rush? He didn't do it. Joe Milton not only has to beat out Will Grier, Joe Milton has to beat out Donovan Smith. And so as it pertains to Jonathan Mingo has to beat out Jalen Tolbert. The Cowboys are not going to give Jonathan Mingo the job. They're not going to do it, Lisa. Don't even worry about it. They're not going to give him the job. Mingo is going to have to earn that job. Mingo could be one of the wide receivers on this team this year. He's probably going to get some snaps, but he's not going to get that third unless he's good enough. I'm confident that unless he's good enough, it's the only way he gets that third, because I won't be surprised if Tolbert takes another step. I believe Tolbert is a solid 3. Now, the reason why Jonathan Mingo has to continue to work, and all the other guys on this team, is because it is a reality that this could be George Pickens' first and last year with the Cowboys. You're going to hear this tonight when we listen to Michael Irvin. But this could easily be George Pickens' last year. So I'm not sure the Cowboys are going to be so quick to trade Jalen Tolbert. They're going to give Jonathan Mingo every opportunity. But if both of them take a step, then they can alternate. I mean, they can alternate in and out. There'll be times that maybe CD needs a breather. There'll be times that maybe he's not in on a play. There'll be times that George Pickens is going to need a breather. So it would behoove these wide receivers to really step up, because who's to say the Cowboys can't use 4 or 5 receivers in the rotation. Why not use Flournoy? Why not use Tolbert? Why not use Mingo? Why not use Pickens and CD? Why not use all of them? There's no point in just, us boiling it down to three, because even Kevontae Turpin's going to get in the mix too. So I'm not sure. I am not so sure they're going to just give this, because I don't think they're going to give anything to Mingo. I think what's going to wind up happening is Mingo going to have to earn this. Oh, I don't even want to forget Trayshawn Holden. Trayshawn Holden ought to have the biggest chip on his shoulder on the team. This man is basically on the Dallas Cowboys for free. I mean, his entire salary is gone after. After taxes. His entire salary gone after taxes. So, again, I'm not writing off any of these wide receivers, Lisa. I'm not doing it. I think that this is what they've done is created competition, and so these guys are still going to be clawing and scratching. I mean, because again, George Pickens, I wouldn't even sweat this if I was Jonathan Mingo or Jalen Tolbert, because we just don't know how long he's going to be here. We don't know how long he's going to be here. And if he balls out, hey, man, good while it lasted. But at the same time, the Cowboys will be able to get that compensatory pick back. And then they will also, just go in the draft next year and get the best wide receiver. We'll see what happens. I don't want to look too far in the future. But I'm just saying all that to say, don't worry about it, Lisa. If Jalen makes that step, Dak Prescott's going to give him the opportunity to make that step. Man, Dak Prescott's going to have a wealth of riches this year. Superstar status in the crib, X Brown in the crib, Timothy Govin in the crib. What's going on with y'all tonight? Good to see y'all. But yeah, we're going to get this thing. Greatness said, get Tolbert out of here. Greatness said, not getting Tolbert out of here yet. He said, get Tolbert out of here. He said it's probably going to be Steele or Donovan Wilson. Yeah, he's not out of here yet. I think they're going to, Tolbert, I'm telling you, the Cowboys like Tolbert too. They drafted him. So Tolbert is going to, and again, Tolbert's not going to let Mingo just have the job. He's going to battle him. He's going to battle him for it, and I'm glad. Battle him for it. It'll make him better. Iron sharpens iron. Ralph Behan, he says, what's going on, Ralph? He says, yo, I know everybody talking about the receiving room, but I'm real stressed about the cornerbacks. Yeah, we talked about them the last time. He said, I think we're jumping the gun, assuming Diggs and Bland are going to be the same after the injury. No, I don't think anybody thinks that. We already know Diggs hasn't been the same. Ralph, he hasn't been the same. Yeah, he hasn't been the same at all. Yeah, he hasn't been the same at all. Now, Bland, I think he needed some time. I mean, you could tell he was coming off of an injury. He's had a whole offseason now to get rested up. So we'll see. We're going to see what he looks like. But again, let's get this thing going. We're going to run over here to on 105.3 The Fan. They had some very interesting. Brian Broaddus had a breakdown of the undrafted free agents that the Cowboys got. And so I haven't listened to it yet, but I want to hear what he had to say. We didn't get a chance to listen to it the other day. It's about 13 minutes. It's late night, so we got time. Check out Brian Broaddus. See what he's talking about with these undrafted free agents. Because these undrafted free agents, I think some of them are going to play a part in the Dallas Cowboys plan this year. I mean, we've already been talking about Trayshawn Holden, but there are actually 4 defensive backs in this undrafted free agent class that they might step up and be the slot cornerback, or they may challenge for the slot cornerback. And then we got, of course, 2 tight ends on this team that may push Spanford and Schoonmaker, and who knows, even Ferguson. But there are a couple of those guys. And, of course, we got Donovan Smith, Trayshawn Holden. So the Cowboys have some undrafted free agents that may become contributors too. So we're going to see what they do. Brandy Mahoney in the crib, what's going on? What's going on? Let me get a couple of more. Big C from Tennessee. What's going on, fam? What's going on with you? Newhouse in the crib. Newhouse fam, what up? Marcus Rowe again in the crib. What's up? Ty Howard. Miss Matrix in the crib. Miss Matrix said hit that like button. I totally agree with her. Morris Newton, what's going on? Yeah, I've heard some talk about Breece Hall. Again, y'all welcome to the Cowboys Late Night. Stephen White, what's going on? You up late tonight. Good to see you tonight. All right, let's get this thing going. Greg Ford, he said, first time to listen to you, but you're good. Appreciate you, Greg Ford. Let's get it in. Let's see what we got going on here on 105.3 The Fan. Again, Brian brought us talking about these undrafted free agents. So let's see what he has. What's the breakdown? One day we're going to get YouTube subscription. But again,
talk about three players a day since we've got 9 players. I'm going to start with Trayshawn Holden, the wide receiver from Oregon first. I'm going to go 3 guys today, 3 guys tomorrow, and 3 guys the next day.
Okay, I'm glad he's talking about Trayshawn Holden. Man, there needs to be a conversation about Trayshawn Holden. Who gives an undrafted free agent $3,000? That's not even a contract. $3,000? I think it's a part of a bigger plan. I really do think it's a part of a bigger plan. But gosh, man, $3,000? All right, tell us what's going on. Tell us what's going on, man.
We're going to knock all these UDFAs out. Holden is a 4-star recruit. Initially, he was at Alabama, and he was Alabama for 3 years, and then he transferred to Oregon. And so he wasn't very good at Alabama. He had some struggles with low number of catches, a lot of drops. But what this guy does at 6'2 and 211, he gives your quarterback a large target. And he's really, really good when it comes to running those dig routes, inside routes, the crossing routes. I don't think he has really, really natural hands, guys. I think he does fight the ball a little bit here.
Appreciate you, Lisa. She said best show on YouTube. Appreciate you.
And he's not a body catcher, but there's times where it just doesn't catch the ball particularly clean. And I think this is why people kind of went after him a little bit. So, like I said, got to be careful of him. Big guy, fighting the ball, double catching it. His size does allow him to run through some jams and presses more than just beating him with quickness or elusive moves. His releases, his route entrance, I mean, it just doesn't have much speed or suddenness to him as a player. And that's going to be a problem for him. But when he does have ball in hands, he is able to get all he can. He's got the ability to kind of weave through defenders until they can bring him down. But he can work along the sidelines, back of the end zone. Those things are good for him to do. Contested plays, again, the hands are a little bit questionable. The length and the height help here. I just think it's going to be a hard time for him to separate from corners. I don't think he has, like I say, that quickness or that speed, and that's probably what hurt him of not being drafted by anybody in the league. Speed, yeah.
How bad is it?
It's noticeable. It's noticeable.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. Brian Broaddus is saying, if you look at his scouting report, I thought the same thing. I thought he was pretty slow. Now, the thing about Trayshawn Holden that is deceptive, but when you look at him on tape, he's a dog. He's a dog. Very tenacious, very physical. He's a dog for sure. He's an absolute dog. But when you look at the speed, when you look at the speed, and what Brian Broaddus is talking about is that lack of separation. Now, separation, it's one of those things, again, you have to look at tape. Because let's think about George Pickens. George Pickens is not a wide receiver that necessarily gets a lot of separation. But what makes George Pickens so special is not only is he big and strong, very physical. I mean, he knows how to push guys off so slightly or uses his body on guys. And his focus on the ball, his concentration, and he's definitely not slow, but his concentration on the ball, he still makes a lot of contested catches. George Pickens is very skillful. Now, again, as you're talking about Trayshawn Holden, when you look at him on tape, he looks better on tape than Brian Broaddus is describing. But I also think bringing in George Pickens, Jonathan Mingo and what they want to see out of him, Jalen Tolbert, Lisa Worley, don't worry. I do believe Jalen Tolbert is not going to he's not going to let Jonathan Mingo have the job laying down. Even if he beats him, he's not going to get the job by Tolbert just walking in and saying, yeah, man, you got the job. Tolbert's probably going to come back a whole lot better this year. So when you think about everything that Brian is saying, it's going to be an uphill battle for Trayshawn Holden. But it seems like to me that the assistant wide receiver coach has basically told the Dallas Cowboys, just bring him in. Just see what he has. I'm not even asking a commitment. See what he is, and he's going to change your mind. And I think that's probably what this $3,000 thing is all about with Trayshawn Holden. But hey, a lot of you guys who watched Oregon, who watched college football, I've seen a lot of y'all, man, really talking up, boy, y'all killing me. Newhouse Fam said $3,000. This ain't leather football. he said this ain't leather helmet football. he said he paid this. He said they paid this man like this is like football, like NFL ain't got no money. Nick Yak, what's up? He said Dak is getting silly when you see how highly rated he is a quarterback stats all time. Oh yeah, for sure. He's about to come the all-time leading Dallas Cowboy passer this year too. But again, the way some of y'all talk about Trayshawn Holden, a lot of y'all are really vouching for Trayshawn Holden. But Brian Broaddus, I don't think Brian Broaddus is necessarily hating on him. I just think Brian Broaddus is telling us what he sees. What he sees. And, man, he's not high on him, I can tell you. You just tell by listening to him, he's not very high on him. Aggie's Pride for Life, he said, my man playing for the Cowboys. He said, my man playing for the Cowboys living in Oak Cliff. boy. Ooh, boy, you killing me, man. Y'all killing me tonight, man. Boy. But again, it might not be on the live stream, Greg Ford. You may have to check one of the videos afterwards to subscribe. I'm not sure where it is on the live streams. But again, Trayshawn Holden, man, it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle for Trayshawn, but a lot of y'all said he can do it. A lot of y'all say he can do it. Timothy Govin, he said, can't wait till training camp. That's where the battle starts. Lisa Holden, did he say Holden is 16? Okay, he might have said that. Oh, 6'2". 6'2". Which, Lisa, think about this. A long time ago, that would have been tall for Dallas Cowboys wide receivers. That's average now. That's average. Ryan Flanoy, 6'2". Jalen Tolbert, I think, is 6'1". Brooks might be 6'1", 6'2". Jonathan Mingo, 6'2". Pickens, I'm not sure what Pickens is, 6'2", 6'3". The big wide receiver for the Cowboys is nothing now. They're all, all the wide receivers for the Cowboys now are pretty much big receivers. So even with him being 6'2" and whatever the case may be, it's just not enough. So, boy, he got an uphill battle, man. There it is, Aggie Pride for Life, because when I looked at his speed, and if I'm not mistaken, let's look at the scouting report. I thought Trayshawn Holden was at a 4. He might have been at, a 4.57? Let me see here. But, yeah, that's really what's hurting him is the speed. And you think about it, he's 6'2", 205. Again, that ain't really big for what the Cowboys have on the team right now. Let's see. But again, man, a lot of people are vouching for Trayshawn Holden. That's what I thought. Yeah, he's a 4.57. That right there. Now, if you're running the 4.57, your hands got to be immaculate. Your route running has to be crispy. Your hands have to be immaculate. You must have a whole lot of power to break tackles and all of those different things. So I've looked at some tape on Trayshawn Holden. He's a pretty nasty kid. But he's got an uphill battle on this team. He got an uphill battle on this team. And this team right here is different than past teams. These boys going to be grinding. They are going to be grinding, man. You're going to have to grind to get a spot on this team. Nobody's giving you a spot on this team this year. You are going to have to put in the work. And a lot of y'all are saying that Trayshawn Holden, based on what y'all know about him from Oregon, he will put in the work. You better put it in. They already got him on notice with $3,000, man. I mean, that is crazy when you think about what they got this dude on, man. Aggie Pride for Life. He said, I think that third spot will come down to Tobin and Mingo. Yeah. Yeah, I do too. But I tell you this, if I'm Paris Campbell, I'm battling for that thing. If I'm Paris Campbell, I'm trying to get my name in the hat too. Morris Newton, he said, I saw him push off a defender with his left hand and catch the ball with his right hand. Are we talking about George Pickens? Pickens know how to use his hands, man. Pickens, Dallas version of Randy Moss. Woo, boy. Man, revelation. Boy. You know what? I think George Pickens is kind of like a combination of so many different types of receivers. I mean, Dez Bryant, I think Dez Bryant is so high on him because I think he reminds Dez of himself. Doesn't quite have the Skywalker. I mean, Randy Moss was a Skywalker, man. Not only was he a Skywalker, Randy Moss was a burner. I mean, Randy Moss, man, get one step, throw that hand up, it's over. It's over. You might as well start running because Randy going to burn you. But George Pickens got a very unique skill set. Very unique skill set. He does, man. Very unique skill set. He's going to be great for the Cowboys. My man Alex, appreciate the hard work, G, he says. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Alex. Appreciate the support, my brother. Yeah, this dude, George Pickens, man, I'm telling you, if George Pickens gets his attitude together, it's going to be hard for the Cowboys to keep him. I'm just being honest with us. It's going to be hard for the Cowboys to keep him. If George Pickens gets it together, this dude can be special. I mean, straight up. Dustin Roberts, what's going on with you? Yeah, this man, George Pickens, could be special, man. He got some skill. He really does. But again, Trayshawn Holden, man, Brian Broaddus. He said it, I didn't. He said one of the issues is his speed. He also said he had questionable hands. Hadn't heard that one. But that's what he said. We'll go back and look at the scouting report here in a few minutes. But, hey, this is what Brian's saying. Let's listen to some more what they got to say about if they're done with Trayshawn Holden.
So, but when I watched him play, I was like, he's
always playing in quicksand.
Yeah, he's not getting through things very quick. But the size.
Wow. Brian Broaddus said this man is playing in quicksand. Golly.
Size is pretty impressive. It's 6'2".
Great hands.
Not great.
Oh.
Not
body catcher.
Not a body catcher, but he kind of double catches some balls too. That's what we're talking about here. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, Rivalando Fairweather.
Oh, the tight end.
Yeah.
From Auburn.
Yeah.
He's 6'3". He's 300. He's 242 pounds. This kid transferred from Florida International University, FIU. And he moves well for his size. He's got really a long build, and he does have good hands. He's able to adjust to various passes thrown his direction. Auburn's quarterbacks were awful. And he was able to kind of go low for a ball, go high for a ball, out in front of him, behind him. So the hand-eye coordination is really good there. This guy's got more straight-line speed than overall quickness. I do think he does a really good job of tracking the ball. He plays with body control down the field. He's able to work along the sidelines if necessary. There's a couple of times where routes, where things broke down and he got to the sidelines and he had to make that tap catch. But in college, only need the 1 foot, but he's still tapped. He doesn't have a lot of routes at that tight end spot. He just did not execute a lot of routes. He'll work through the middle of the field mainly. He will play in line. When I mean in line, he'll play next to the tackle, but most of his stuff is flexed or as a wing, and he's more of a get in the way blocker as opposed to one who's going to stick his nose in the action. He's not that great when asked to block as that wing, or when he has to play on the move. When he has to trap or get somebody out of there, this is not his cup of tea, as they would say. He just doesn't have pop. He doesn't have surge. He really he just can't move defenders like you would. But his ability to catch the ball and run after catch are his best traits for the position. I felt like he had some of that John Stevens. Remember the kid that got hurt the last couple of years?
Yeah.
The athletic tight end that you kind of see.
He's turned heads.
Making plays, but every year it seems like he gets hurt in camp
Yeah.
He's got some John Stevens to his game by the way he's built and by the way he moves. So I could see why the Cowboys like this particular player, Fairweather from.
All right, we got a commercial on. Appreciate the super chat, my brother Roderick out there in Florida. Boy, I bet Ashley was sick when they traded. I bet Ashley was sick when they traded George Pickens, wasn't she, Roderick? I bet she was sick when they traded George Pickens. Roderick said, "What up, G? Cowboys Nation?" He said, "I'm excited about us picking up Pickens for 2 reasons. 1, he's a huge threat on the field. 2, he has a great first name." Oh, I got you there, Roderick. I got you. Yes, sir. George Pickens. Yes, sir. Me and him got the same name. That's right. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. I bet Ashley mad, though. Y'all could have had DK Metcalf and George Pickens. All right, let's check it out.
The
Did
last
it check out like he could help you in the run game with his blocking?
No, he's not that.
That's what
guy.
I heard about him.
Not that guy.
That's why I trust Brian.
Not that guy.
Okay, so Brian Broaddus has just told us about Rivaldo Fairweather. And so kind of what he's talking about with Rivaldo Fairweather is big guy, 6'3", 245, big guy, straight line, a little bit more straight line speed, not a guy who's going to give you a lot of moves. Voch Lombardi had did a film breakdown on him, and he's a big dude. He basically knows he's a big dude. He's not going to put moves on you, but if you're a defensive back, he'll knock you down because he's big. You get in front of him, and if you're not really somebody that can bring a load, he gonna knock you down. He's a very big tight end, but he has some very, very good hands. So he's one of those types of guys. I would say you're probably not looking at him as a playmaker. Again, if you're thinking about what Brian Broaddus is saying, well, if you're gonna play tight end on this team, you better be able to block. You better be able to block in this Brian Schottenheimer scheme. And he just said he's not really that good in the run. He said he gets more in the way than he does block. So, again, if you're listening to Brian Broaddus, so I'm putting both of these guys down in this category. Uphill battle. Uphill battle. Trayshawn Holden, uphill battle. Not fast. Rivaldo Fairweather, great hands, not fast, not a good blocker. Uphill battle. Uphill battle again.
All right. Elijah Clark in my last report for the day. He's the safety from Syracuse.
Okay, Elijah Clark.
188. He plays as a true free safety. This kid transferred from Rutgers. He does have versatile experience across the secondary. He's played a lot of different spots. He can really high point the ball when he needs to go get it. He reads well from depth.
Okay, appreciate you, Stepping
developing. He can come forward and make plays. He's really physical in coverage. He flies downhill in the running game, kind of can square up runners in the hole. His strike, he's got some violence at 6'1", 181. He kind of looks a little bit like a corner playing more than he does a safety.
Like a vegetarian corner.
Yeah, he's thin. Might struggle a little bit having to deal with some, if you put him in the slot and ask him to cover those guys. He's a 4-5 guy running, but he does have some quickness to him and able to kind of adjust. His footwork's going to have to be a little bit better. Flexibility in space is going to have to be a little bit better. But as far as coming downhill and making plays, there's a sense of urgency. So when he plays, I was kind of impressed with that. I could say the versatile skill set to play the up, to play back. He might be kind of a guy you use in some nickel coverage. But, man, I'll tell you what, at 6'1", 188, I was impressed with how physical he was and his willingness when the ball went down the field, how he was able to play with some range and able to knock passes away. So I believe this was the highest paid college free agent the Cowboys signed. I think this kid was given a guarantee of $257,000.
Not bad.
As a guy. So that tells me that he was on the Cowboys draft board. A lot of these guys I bet were on Dallas's draft board. Those are the first guys they go after. Talk to you about some undrafted.
They got plans for him.
Dallas Cowboys. Joshua Kelly.
Yeah, they have plans for him.
Texas Tech going to get into him a little bit here.
Bringing the Raider Rash to Frisco.
Bringing the Raider Rash.
Joshua Kelly, that's the wide receiver.
This guy right here he was a 3-star recruit and out of California, and he started his career in at Fresno State.
Knows how to play.
All right, let's just for a second, let's pause because Elijah Clark. Again, Elijah Clark may be one of these dudes. Maybe he competes for that Jordan Lewis spot. Maybe he competes for that. I mean, because when you start talking about safety, I'm a little bit wary of a safety that's like 6'1", 181 pounds. Man, safeties have to come downhill and hit. Safeties have to come downhill and hit. And you messing around being 6'1", man, going up against running backs. I mean, we're just talking about running backs. I mean, you start going up against running backs that's 190, 195, 200, 205. I mean, man, them guys will ring your bell, man, being that size as a safety. But playing in the nickel, playing in the nickel, 6'1", 181, he's 4'5", he's got speed, and he's quick. And like he said, he's physical, he's rangy. So he might be somebody you might try to work into that nickel position. And it tells me something that the fact the Cowboys gave him 250. I mean, I know we're not talking about what the drafted players are signing, but hey, man, $257,000. Okay, they probably plan on him being on the team. I got a feeling they plan on him being on the team. So he might try to work his way into that nickel cornerback position. Boy, I am telling you, there are going to be so many battles on this field this year. So many battles on this field, man. I'm just excited about this Cowboys training camp. It is going to be absolutely exciting. My man, Richard Owens in the crib, what up with you? Joe Smith, Ferg will bounce back a bit this year. He better. Having Pickens and possibly a run game opens up things for Ferg to make plays. Joe Smith, we need Ferg down that seam again. And I don't think there's a quarterback in the league that throws a better seam pass than Dak Prescott. We need Ferg back in that seam, man. Paul, we really do. We need him back in that seam. Lisa Worley, Jaden Blue is coming out of the backfield with some good receptions. He's going to have some receiving yards too, for sure. He's going to be. We're not going to call him Jalen Tobe. I mean, we're not going to call him. Boy, it makes me so mad. I can't ever remember this guy's name. The running back that used to play for the Cowboys that they're calling him 2.0. Why can't I ever remember this guy's name? Okay, I'm not even going to look it up. Y'all help me out. The running back that left Dallas to go to Tennessee. Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard. Lisa, he is not going to be Tony Pollard 2.0. He's going to be Tony Pollard 2000. Way faster. Way quicker. Way faster, way quicker. Man, and the start and stop speed, it's on a different level than what Tony Pollard's was. Man, if the Cowboys, and again, he going to get work. I saw somebody talking the other day. They said they think he's going to get about 5 to 7 touches a game. I don't believe it. I will be shocked if he isn't getting 7 to 10 touches a game. You can't have a kid like Jaden Blue. You can't have a kid like Jaden Blue talking about 5 touches a game. Nah, bruh. Nah, you got to work him into the system. You got to try to get him 7 to 10. Now, we already know the Cowboys will probably be a little bit limited as far as the passing game. And don't get me wrong. Brian Schottenheim is going to air it out. I've been seeing people talking about, we're going to lead with the run. Yeah, we're going to run. But Brian Schottenheimer believes in a prolific passing game too. No, he believes in a prolific passing game. And I'm going to tell you something about Dak Prescott that the Dak Prescott haters don't understand. Dak Prescott is a prolific passer. Dak Prescott is a prolific passer. He's got a great football mind. And it's like when coaches get with Dak, it's like, okay, they can't help but kind of let him loose a little bit. Brian's going to let Dak loose too. Dak will probably throw the ball, I believe, probably between 23, 28 times a game. So you look at about 28 throws. You'll probably get 12 of those, 12 to 13, depending upon the game. 12 to 15 of those will go to CD. You'll probably get somewhere around 8 to 12 to Pickens. maybe 5 or 6 to Ferguson, and then you can get whatever else with anybody else. So it'll be a little bit limited, but again, I still see Jaden Blue. I still see Jaden Blue in there. I'd be shocked if he don't get 7 to 10. Because you're talking about running and passing. I'd be shocked if he doesn't get 7 to 10. Yeah, he's going to be serious. He's going to be serious. But again, as we talk about Elijah Clark, they may try to work him into that nickel position. My man Daniel M, what's going on? He said, I'm here, G. He said, I have to make sure that I'm not late, but I have some news to share with you and our fans. There are reports that we are interested in Nick Chubb, Breece Hall, and Jair Alexander. Man, let me tell you something. Boy, I wanted Nick Chubb last year. And what they have right now, man, cut Sanders, cut Javonte Smith, man, roll with Nick Chubb, Phil Maffa, Jaden Blue. We got it. We got it right there. We don't need nothing else. We don't need nothing else. I would absolutely love to bring in Nick Chubb. Breece Hall also, Jair Alexander. Boy, hey, man. Jair Alexander would be crazy on this team. Yeah. Oh, I would love. I hope it happens, Daniel. I really do. Because I don't believe the Cowboys are done by far as it applies to getting players. They're going to keep on. They are going to keep on getting players. And watch what happens after post-June 1st. Okay, that's redundant. Wait to see what happens after June 1st. I meant to say wait to see what happens after post-June 1st cuts, but that's still redundant. So again, watch what happens after the June 1st cuts. There'll be other players out there. There will be other players out there, and the Cowboys, I guarantee you, they're going to go for some of them. The Cowboys seem to be we're building to go on a championship run, but also as in, we don't want to lose in the meantime either. They want to win now. I love it. And again, man, these undrafted free agents, boy, they're going to have these undrafted free agents, they fighting an uphill battle in this year's camp. Man, they are fighting an uphill battle in this year's camp with some of these people, man. Boy, I mean, you think about the more these people the Cowboys bring on, the more these undrafted free agents they're going to have to fight. And especially the 4-string guys. Whoo, man. Boy. But this is the way you want it. This is how it should be. Man, you make people come in and battle for those positions, man. You do. Okay, let's talk. Let's get this. Not come back to your comments. He talking about Josh Kelly right now. Let's see.
It's funny, he went from Fresno to Washington State and then to Texas Tech. So his best numbers that he's had.
My daughter is.
Hey, Big D, man, I've been already imagining it, man. I said it the other day, man. I already been imagining it. Cavante Turpin, Jaden Blue, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb.
Using this guy's
yes,
he's
sir.
A big-time slot player. He's not the most explosive or detailed route runner when you watch him play, but he does have some quickness, just some initial quickness out of his breaks. And so when you watch him at the top of his route, he's able to kind of get out of it quick and get a little separation. I think his footwork and all was really, really good. At 6'1", 186, he's kind of a thin guy, but his hands super, super competent. Yesterday we were talking about.
Totally agree, Jared Thomas. Jared Thomas says if there's no excuse for Dak Prescott, like some have said, there's also no excuses for guys that others like, such as Lamar, Josh, Herbert as well. We have to keep that same energy. Boy, yeah, because let me tell you something. I don't think people understand, Jared. The Buffalo Bills loaded Josh Allen up. The Buffalo Bills not only gave him a new contract, they loaded him up with players, man. Shoot, man, that Buffalo Bills, that Buffalo Bills squad, they're building that thing. I'm hoping that this is going to be a collision course with the Cowboys in 2026. I'm hoping that Josh Allen and Dak Prescott both make the Super Bowl at the same time, because it would be the perfect Super Bowl for Dak Prescott to go to and win. because the NFL wants to crown Josh Allen as the face of the NFL. They just can't do it because he doesn't win enough. And it would be a great replay of those Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys Super Bowls. Oh man, I would absolutely love it. Love it, man. But yeah, they loaded him up, Jared. I don't think nobody got loaded. I don't think people understand. Boy, the Buffalo Bills loaded Josh Allen down with players. And they're still looking too. They're still looking too. I mean, I'm glad they're not in the NFC. They're loading them down. And they're trying to do the same thing for Lamar Jackson. Because they already went and got him a run game last year. Got Josh Allen a run game last year. Justin Herbert. They're trying to load him up. And it's amazing. They don't have no more success than Dak Prescott. It just goes to prove that this is a team sport. We try to make it all about the quarterback sometime, but it's a team sport, man. It is. It's a team sport. Aggie Pride for Life, he said, we're about to have that offense we had a couple of years ago. Boy, even better. Going up and down the field, we need that defense to be a bit better than that year, though. I think they will be. But again, we'll see. We'll talk about it a little bit tonight, probably. But I really would like for the Cowboys to be looking at Asante Samuel Jr. I do think they need to continue to look at what they can find maybe in the free agency market at cornerback. I mean, if they're really trying to win now, cornerback too. They got to get a cornerback now because Savon Revel Jr. will be ready. The question is when is Trevon Diggs going to be ready? And then when he is ready, are the Cowboys going to let him play? Because again, Angie the Rebel Chicks talked about it. I talked about it. Hey, I don't mind. I'd love to see it. I would love to see Trevon Diggs. I mean, I'm talking about prime playing Trevon Diggs. Deron Bland, prime Deron Bland, Savon Revel Jr. Whoa, boy. Man, you won't talk about a secondary. Then we can replace them safeties with Bell and Wanye. Oh, man. Paul would be working with something then. Byron Joe DeVede, appreciate that super chat. Yes, sir. Finally, some action we can all appreciate. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We getting talked about in the offseason for moves rather than money and drama. I love it. JS Tube, he said to all the Dak haters, he says when has Dak ever made any excuse when not performing well or not taking us to the next level? When? He owns it. Yes, sir. But Dak has told us. Dak said he going to make good on that contract. And I'm ready for him to do it too. Oh, Joe Smith, don't let us forget Kyrie Elam. I think the Cowboys want him to be successful too. They're going to give him a chance too. Former first-round pick. Cowboys did not pick up his fifth-round option strategically. It's not because he's bad. It's strategically because they want to be able to negotiate a deal. So, again, yeah, Ty Howard, he got that knee issue. We'll see what he looks like when he comes back.
Holding our Oregon receiver, and I felt like that he was kind of some double catching of the ball. This guy, Joshua Kelly, he can catch the football. This guy's got really confident hands, and he's really good when working with people around him, the contested catches. So he's got the hands, he's got the short area quickness. There is some suddenness to his game that way. I think the contact balance is something these coaches look for in their receivers. This guy's got it, but he can run routes when it comes to like curls, the hitches, the comebacks. You see a lot of different routes for this guy, and he makes plays in all of them. I like the way the tempo, the pace, everything he does is really good when it comes to selling the route and getting in and out of his breaks, and there's some smoothness to him the way he's there. So the hands, those are top shelf, like I said, and he really, really attacks the ball, and he's a willing blocker. He's just not an explosive receiver when it comes to speed. So it's kind of a mixed bag with him, but man, this guy makes a lot of plays with his hands. So
you got a little bit of a twinkle in your eye when you talk about this guy.
Joshua Kelly, I like Joshua Kelly a little bit. He wasn't one of these guys that I initially was one of the 235. He wasn't, and I feel bad for missing him. He didn't get selected, but he's.
Man, Joe Smith up in here being brutal, boy. Joe Smith said Diggs is finished.
You very well could put this guy in the 5th round, maybe the late 5th, 6th round type of player. There's plenty of receivers that he's better than that were on the board. This kid probably should have been drafted the way he catches the football.
Good, we need him.
All right. Justin Barron is a linebacker.
All right, let me play both sides of the fence for a moment. But again, Joshua Kelly, boy, he's going to have an uphill battle. Might find himself on the practice squad. Marvin Jenkins said you don't need a running back. Yeah, I don't think we need a running back, but I don't mind the luxury of Nick Chubb. And again, I would take Nick Chubb over Sanders and Williams. Oh, man, I take Nick Chubb every day of the week over them two. Man, let me tell you, Marvin Jenkins, have you seen some of these workouts, man, Nick Chubb been doing? Boy, Nick Chubb could be on American Gladiator, boy. I take Nick Chubb because Nick Chubb is an upgrade. Nick Chubb is an upgrade. And I tell you this, man, I would love for him to be in that room with those two rookies rather than the other two guys. Nick Chubb would be, boy, whoo. Nick Chubb would be sick, man. He would. Shaw, what's up? He said, Dick's scared to stick his nose in there and tackle. I'm good on him. Yeah, that's one of his problems, man. He don't like to tackle. Now, we got to realize, man, he has to realize, too, he's not Deion Sanders. If you're not Deion Sanders, we expect you to tackle. If you're Deion Sanders, okay. And even Deion, it's not that Deion wouldn't tackle. Deion wasn't tackling your head up. Deion might let you pass by and then just get you from the side. He'd knock you down from the side or something. But Trayvon Diggs, man, when he missed tackles, it's bad. It's bad. And again, I think he avoids contact. And I think a part of the reason why he's been avoiding some of that contact is that knee. I really do. And that's the thing that has me really scared because I'm like, okay, so he comes back. What happens the first time he falls down on that knee? What happens the first time he takes contact on that knee? Man, Alex, appreciate the super chat. Oh, I see what you're doing here, Alex. He said Lamb equals St. Brown. Pickens equals Jameson Williams. Ferg equals Laporta. Blue Williams equals Gibbs Montgomery. He said, are we going to witness a top 3 defense? Hey, Alex, let me tell you something. You think about the past defenses under Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn would have some of those top 10 defenses. Go look at those defenses. Those defenses were a facade. Those defenses would rack up a ton of crazy stats at the beginning of the season. Rack up crazy stats against some of the weaker teams. And we would be in the top 5, top 7 defenses all the way through the year. But then you would notice when we would play the good teams, we couldn't stop them. Our defenses were not as good as they looked on paper. They were not as good as they looked on paper. And I mean with the stats. But the thing about this defense, I'm just telling you now, this defense right now, how much you bet Dan Quinn would have rather had this defense in 2023 than the defense he had in 2023 with no linebackers? Boy, if Dan Quinn had this defense right here, Dan Quinn would be salivating, man. Dan Quinn might have had a true top 5 defense just with what they've done on the line, man. I mean, when you just look at what they've done in the trenches, Dan Quinn would be going crazy right now. Dan Quinn would be going crazy. Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezeraku, Peyton Turner, Solomon Thomas, Mozzie Smith, Jay Toia, Osa Odigizua. Man, and we can't forget Micah Parsons. Sam Williams, Sanborn, Murray Jr. I mean, if Dan Quinn would have had a defense like this in 2023, he might not have threw that game. I said it. I'm just telling you what Stephon Gilmore said. He said Dan Quinn threw the game, and a couple other people said it too. Man, Dan Quinn would have had this defense. Dan Quinn would have just had this defense. Man, Dan Quinn wouldn't even be complaining about cornerbacks. Man, that was the least of Dan Quinn's problems. Dan Quinn would be, boy, he'd be salivating with this defense. He'd be salivating with this defense. This defense we got is pretty good. They've done a very good job that once we get this in the pot, let it mix, let it cook. We got to see what it is. You know, once we get it on the field, let it cook. Let get the kinks worked out. Let everybody get their chemistry. Boy, by midseason, I think we're going to see some flashes. We're going to see some flashes by midseason. We're going to be like, whoa, man. Yes, sir. And if we can get a record, if we can get a winning record by midseason, man, if we 5-3, something like that, 5-3, 5-4, something like that, the chemistry, man, this team is going to be nasty. I'm telling you. And I can't wait for the schedule. I'm not saying I can't wait, but when the schedule comes out on May 15th, I'm telling you, you watch what I tell you. Mark my words. It happens every year. Somebody says, this team right here has the hardest schedule in the league. And then people start dropping like flies. Or the team don't even turn out to be that good. And then before you know it, that very team you thought had a hard schedule winds up having one of the easiest schedules. Happens all the time. Oh, Mark Hutchins says, Nick Chubb is too injury prone. Appreciate that super chat. Now, you know, Mark, I thought he stayed pretty healthy last year. If I'm not mistaken, I thought he stayed pretty healthy. But again, hey, Mark, think about this. You don't need him for the bell cow back. No, don't let him be the bell cow. Because Jaden Blue will be getting snaps in the passing game and the run game. So you work to get Phil Maffa to being because he's a 3-down back. Phil Maffa is a 3-down back. If once they get him healthy, Phil Maffa is a 3-down back. 3-down back. You just let Nick Chubb kind of work in and out with him somewhat. Nick Chubb, if you're going to have about 35 carries, let's see if we can get Maffa up to about, maybe you start him out at about 12 to 15. Maybe we can get him to about 15 to 18. And then you want to bring in Jaden Blue. Make sure he gets about 7 to 8 carries. And then you bring in Nick Chubb and say, Nick, we don't need you to do a lot, bro. All we need you for is a series or 2. That's all we need you for, because we'll probably get what? Let's say somewhere between 8 to 11 series. Nick Chubb, we need you for 2 series. 2 series and maybe some spot duty on goal line or short yardage. That's all we need you for. Man, the Cowboys are going to have a bevy of weapons. Man, we're going to get to the point they're just going to have to figure out how to use all this. I mean, you got to think about it, man. We still got Kevontae Turpin. Man, we got to figure out how to use all this. And we talking about even adding more. Because I do believe the Cowboys are still going to tweak this. They're going to continue to try to tweak this thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they bought in Nick Chubb. I would not be surprised if they bought in Nick Chubb. Because I tell you this, I won't be crying about it. Shoot. Boy, I will not be crying if they bring in Nick Chubb. Bring in Nick Chubb. And I've been hearing about they were looking at a defensive tackle. Some guy from Detroit. We'll see. I want to get a little bit more on that before I really start talking about it. But again, the thing that has impressed me, they're continuing to tweak and they're looking. Boy, you can't help but be excited. I'm sorry. You can't help but be excited. Marika, yeah, like what you said, could be a good locker room mentor for the young backs. Yeah. I would rather him, I'm just honest, I would rather him be in there than Sanders and Williams, especially Sanders. I'd rather him be in there. I would. I'd rather him be in there. Yeah, Shaw, I'm going to tell you, our offense not only is going to be fast, man, I hope our defense is going to be fast. Fast, and they're big, and they're nasty. Yeah, defense is going to be nasty. The whole team, man, once they get this thing going, it's going to be great. CW, 6253, he said, man, I'm reminding you the release. Okay, it's on the 14th. That'll be on the Wednesday. He said your show is going to be fire. Oh, man, boy, it's going to man, I may have to do 2 or 3 shows that day, CW. I may have to do 2 or 3 shows because if that schedule release early in the morning, I'm going to be on that. I'm going to be early in the morning. Boy, everybody better get up early because I'm going to be up at about 8 o'clock reporting on this thing. Yeah, that schedule going to be nice. Nick Yak, he says 7-3 would be sweet with all of our changes. Yeah. All right, let's get through get through the rest of this thing with Brian Broaddus, then we're going to move on to the Michael Irvin thing. Appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. Make sure y'all hit that like button if you already haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell.
All of them. I like the way the tempo, the pace, everything he does is really good when it comes to selling the route and getting in and out of his breaks. And there's some smoothness to him the way he's there. So the hands, those are top shelf, like I said. And he really, really attacks the ball, and he's a willing blocker. He's just not an explosive receiver when it comes to speed. So it's kind of a mixed bag with him. But, man, this guy makes a lot of plays with his hands. So
you got a little bit of a twinkle in your eye when you talk about this guy.
Joshua Kelly, I like Joshua Kelly a little bit. He wasn't one of these guys that I initially was one of the 235. He wasn't, and I feel bad for missing him. He didn't get selected, but you very well could put this guy in the 5th round, maybe the late 5th, 6th round type of player. There's plenty of receivers that he's better than that were on the board. This kid probably should have been drafted the way he catches the football.
Good, we need him.
All right. Justin Barron is a linebacker from Syracuse. Now, the thing about Justin Barron is interesting is he's 6'4", he's 225. So he's played receiver, he's played defensive back, and they've moved him to linebacker.
He's an athlete.
This is what Ivy League universities.
So Justin Barron basically is an athlete. That's what he's saying. I see. Yeah, Justin Barron is an athlete.
He was playing kind of like the big nickel, with Dan Quinn. Remember what we did with Bell and those kinds of guys? But this guy, he could play. He plays the linebacker spot. He's really a sideline to sideline player. He's got really good length. The fluidity is good. He could slip past blockers more than take them on. He is a size, a little bit of undersized, but the speed is really, really good. And he's super competitive and he's super tough. He's got the right kind of mindset to play linebacker. He's got pursuit angles are really good. There's acceleration for the position as, playing at that linebacker spot. I think he's a much better zone cover player than he is, say, a man player, but you do see him work against some tight ends when they go up the seam, and he's able to stay with them. He's this hybrid linebacker, and he's played a ton of special teams.
I was about to say, this sounds like in all three phases.
Yeah, this is a backup linebacker that's got position understanding of playing it in the secondary, playing at linebacker. But his special teams work is what's going to get him on this field.
I see.
The
Okay.
awareness, I think, is good. The with the lineup at the different spots, I think that's as good too. But his lack of bulk and size really just isn't ideal. But he's probably going to he'll make the team because of special teams and his ability to show the toughness that way. Okay, Zion Childers.
Let me get this super chat in. My man Byron Joe DeVede. Hold on a second here. He says, a feeling the Bears, Lions, and Chiefs are primetime games. Man, boy, Cowboys, the way they looking, man, whew, yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. The Bears, Lions, and the Chiefs, that'd be great if we had them for primetime games. But I can tell you right now, boy, every game going to be primetime for the Cowboys this year. The way this thing is shaping up, boy, everything going to be primetime. I'm sorry, I was laughing. Lee Type said, Deuce, practice squad. Lisa Worley, I wanted Nick Chubb also last year, and I hope I will not be mad if they get him this year, Lisa. I will not. Oak Cliff Rockefeller said, correct, Dan, second trade talks ain't went away. Yeah, I think there's going to be more. The Cowboys got more. They got more. They're going to keep working. Joe Smith, they aren't going to add any more running backs. I wonder, Joe, Sanders and Williams both are not making it. So my question becomes, but what if there is somebody? And again, I know people have been talking about Nick Chubb. I did see, though, where I did hear they said Nick Chubb was kind of off the table. But we'll see. Derek Grimsley, what's going on? He said, I think we're looking at a top 5 offense, a top 5 defense, top 7 running the ball. Oh, man, yes, sir. Yeah, they're going to be good to go. They're going to be good to go. We just got to let it get in there, let it cook, let it get going. It's going to be good. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, he said, we always can have more weapons. Dan, Brian Brothers, and Vosh spoke on it. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Shoot, man. There's nothing wrong with having too much. I'd rather have too much than too little. I'd rather have too much than too little. And so they got the opportunity to do it. We're going to see. My man Poobie D in the crib. What's up? Poobie D said, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I say the same thing.
This is my last guy, Zion Childress, excuse me.
Oh, somebody just texted about him.
Yeah, he's a safety from Kentucky is where he at. And he was a 3-star recruit. He started his career, I'm sure they're asking about because he started his career at Texas State. And he was kind of a nickel for down there for Texas State. And then he just said, well, I need to try and go to another, get myself a little bit higher up the food chain here. And he chose Kentucky as his team. But he was a 2-time captain, which it makes a lot of sense for the Cowboys. They're looking for those guys. He's played 25 straight games at a safety. And at 6 foot 195, he's really quick to read. He drives really well on the ball. He makes these plays where you're thinking like, oh, he's not going to get there. And then all of a sudden, bam, he's right on top of it. Because overall, man, he plays really fast.
Jerry is fighting for the Philadelphia Eagles on opening night, Lisa. We'll see. We'll see when the schedule comes out.
He's physical. He's decisive. He has occasionally, there's some missed tackles that you'll see with him. He doesn't have a lot of ball production, but man, he is one of those guys that triggers quick. He's a solidly built player. He's got the good speed. He's got agility. He's got lateral quickness. He can cover a lot of ground. The missed tackle part of it, though, is something he's probably going to have to overcome. So, I mean, you'll see him try and punch the ball out. He's one of those guys. He's always trying to create a turnover. I just don't think he has the great speed, and I'm not sure how much you really want to put him in coverage, but the quickness, the downhill, the toughness, all those things that you'll like about the game. I love the way he sees the game, but he'll need to work on some of the coverage aspect parts of it, though, if he gets matched up that way.
All right. It sounds like to me, just kind of listening to Brian Broaddus, that all of the UDFAs are going to be pretty much developmental players with the exception of maybe Justin Barron, and then we'll see what Trayshawn Holden does. I know some of y'all are really big on Trayshawn Holden. I'm definitely rooting for him. I mean, he seems like he's a good, he seems like a good player. I'm definitely rooting for him, but we'll see how that goes. But that's Brian Broaddus on the UDFAs. All right, let's go to this thing with Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin really had a lot of things to say about one George Pickens. He had some great things to say about George Pickens, and Michael Irvin is really big on George Pickens. I mean, Michael Irvin was basically talking about this God-given ability that he has. And he wished he had it. But, I appreciate Mike saying that. But Mike was absolutely sick with it. Yeah, we definitely need some safety work again. I'm hoping Marquise Bell and I think what's his name, Wanye Thomas. I really hope they give those guys a run for their money at safety, because I'm telling you, man, last year's safety play was terrible. And again, this is one of the reasons why that when they let Al Harris go, because I actually thought the Cowboys were going to try to keep Al Harris, but a lot of people were saying that the Cowboys were glad to get rid of Al Harris because of the poor secondary play. The poor secondary play, the corners and the safeties, it was terrible. I don't know if we can blame him for Diggs, but the secondary play was terrible from there, and the safeties were atrocious. Out of place, missing tackles, getting burned. They were terrible. They were terrible. But again, I don't think they paid Marquise Bell for nothing. I don't think they paid Marquise Bell for nothing. I believe Marquise Bell will be a starting safety for the Cowboys by the time the season starts. But we're going to see. Hopefully they'll either cut or trade one of those guys. But again, let's listen to just a few minutes of Michael Irvin as he talks about George Pickens. Let me see. I'm going to go kind of further in here.
Another top money in receiver, $35 million in a receiver, that we got to get value out of that value.
Yeah.
So let's focus. Even though we got to put a whole bunch of money into Michael Parsons, let's focus on making this offense back like what it was. And he did, and we went in the draft and did that. I came out of the draft so happy with the draft pick. Told you guys to talk to him. Man, talk with his father, love what he is. I love what they're bringing in the locker room. And then I love the way they went and picked up the running backs. But here's the last hole that we were talking about on the offense. Go make me a splash at wide receiver. And I said it on the show the day after we got Tyler Booker. I said, I'm glad we got him. Now go bring me George Pickens. And they did. And I'm telling y'all, this is great. Let me tell you, because even the Matthew Goldens and the other kids they had in the draft, they're good players, but there were a lot of duplications with CeeDee Lamb, size-wise.
Now, this is something that I wanted to key in on. Michael Irvin said something that I thought was very interesting right here. Other than Ted McMillan, all of the other wide receivers were basically, in some form or another, they were kind of like CeeDee Lamb. So you were basically going to have two CeeDee Lambs. And so Michael Irvin is making a very good point. And maybe that's why the Cowboys stuck to their board. And after Ted McMillan was gone off the board, get Tyler Booker. You get to day 2. You don't trade up. You don't even trade back. You don't do anything. You stay where you are. If someone falls to you, if they're on your board, you get them. But then they got Donovan Ezeraku, Savon Revel Jr. And everyone's upset that they didn't get a wide receiver. But again, I believe the Cowboys put the thing with George Pickens in their back pocket because I believe they knew that the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted to get rid of George Pickens. And as a matter of fact, what we'll do is I'm going to let you hear a little bit of Michael Irvin. I want to let you hear something from Nightcap that just came on. I think it was either today or last night. And what they reported about teams as it applies to George Pickens. And I think one of the reasons why the Cowboys felt like they could circle the block and still get George Pickens even after the draft, because the Cowboys, I believe, realized they had the Pittsburgh Steelers where they wanted them. But I thought this was very interesting what he said, because when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Those receivers, we already got our yards after the catch receiver. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb owns the middle of the field. He owns it. And he doesn't run the slants like Michael Irvin, but he still runs the slants. He runs the underneath routes. He goes in motion. He's in the slot. He runs the hitches. He runs the outs. He does the jet sweeps. He does a lot of those things. So you didn't need another receiver like Matthew Golden, Emeka Egbuka, and Luther Burden III because they're CD-like receivers. Not saying we wouldn't love to have them. They're CD-like receivers. But if we think about Ted McMillan, he's not like CD. He actually would have been more of a what you call a complementary receiver to CD because he's not the same. Ted McMillan is tall. Ted is tall, go up and get it, route runner, and he can actually be a deep threat for you. But I think he's probably more of a chain mover for the Cowboys in a sense, but he would have still been more of a complementary receiver to CeeDee Lamb. But when you think about George Pickens and that dynamic, it's a whole different ball game. And if you hadn't watched my video today, we're going to hear Michael Irvin talk about it. But let's listen to a little bit more Michael Irvin. Then we're going to go over the nightcap, and I'm going to let you hear what they're saying about this thing with George Pickens over there and why I believe the Cowboys felt like they could circle the block on him. Check this out.
That was somebody to complement this.
Yeah.
And this is what I think is great, because since there are different types of receivers, they complement and they won't complain.
Yeah, I saw this too, Mark.
Compliment instead of complainant. I know it's not a word, but I just want to do it that way just to understand. Because now we have a set understanding. Harper and I worked well together.
Yeah.
Because we had a certain understanding. Hart was a high jumper and could run. And he wanted to go and get that football. I can't say let's run. I can still jump though, I can get up. But so I have no problem. All 8 routes, action eights are routes, that's the deep post, action 8. Or bang 8, that's my route. Bang 8, that's on my 4 or 5 side foot, I'm gonna hit a slant route. It's a deep slant route. I'm gonna run into the safety, bang, bang, as opposed to a slant route where I'm gonna run it, I will run into the linebacker, bang, bang. But it's all bang, bang. Action 8.
Truth, Alvin Harper was he was a first-round draft pick, ironically number 12.
Deep post, over the top post, those Alvin Harpers. We had a distinct understanding, and we did what we did, that we were different. I wasn't trying to be Alvin, and Alvin was the...
Now, again, let's lock in on something that he's saying. How much different would Luther Burden III, Emeka Egbuka, and Matthew Golden, how different would they have been from CeeDee Lamb? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, how different would they really have been? I don't think they would have been different. Maybe some variation, but I don't think they're different. You're looking at the same type of wide receiver. You really are. You're looking at the same type of wide receivers. They're all yards after the catch receivers. And Michael Irvin is really hitting on something because they can't do it better than CeeDee Lamb. Neither one of them would be able to do it better than CeeDee Lamb. And it's not saying that you don't want wide receivers that can get yards after the catch. But with the limited amount of passes that you're probably going to throw, somewhere between 23 to 28, CeeDee Lamb is going to get probably 12, 10 to 15 of those touches. So he's already that receiver. So in the grand scheme of things, what you really were looking for was, can we get a wide receiver that can take the top off the defense, that we can throw chunk plays? I talked about this a few days ago. Chunk plays. We want chunk plays with the other wide receiver. A guy who can go downfield, we can throw it up, he can go up there and get it. He'll fight a defensive back and he'll get that pass. So when you think about that, he's exactly right. These wide receivers were not really what Dallas needed. A George Pickens type receiver is what the Cowboys needed, because he's more of a, CeeDee Lamb is more of a Michael Irvin receiver. Alvin Harper, George Pickens is more of an Alvin Harper type receiver. Perfect complement. They're two different types of receivers. They're not going to be fighting each other because they have the same type of identity, the same type of makeup. No, they're two totally different receivers, but they're the two type of receivers that the Cowboys need and anybody needs. You need the CeeDee Lamb, the sure hands, the route running, the slippery wide receiver, yards after the catch, dynamic wide receiver. Big plays also, but he gets them more with yards after the catch. One of the things I noticed about the Cowboys in 2024, CeeDee Lamb didn't seem to want some of those routes that they were assigning him. He didn't want some of those routes. Do we remember CeeDee Lamb this year? Didn't want to fight through coverage. Didn't want to fight for those contested balls. That's not really what he is. And it's not. It's not what he is. George Pickens, though, he's that type of receiver. He's that type of receiver, fights through coverage. He's going to contest every catch. If the ball may be poorly thrown, he's going to contest it. He says, throw it up. I can beat this guy. Throw it up. There are two different type of receivers. We are literally looking at, and I won't say literally, but we are looking at, in a sense, a type of Michael Irvin, Alvin Harper. That's what we're looking at. That is what we're looking at.
Trying to be me and made it work. That's what I see here with the George Pickens. See, George Pickens ain't trying to be CD. CD
Nope.
can't be George Pickens.
Nope, two different
That's what
receivers.
Makes this work.
Two different
Why
receivers.
Are you not investing?
They are two different receivers. And this is one of the very reasons why CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are probably going to work, and they're going to work well together.
Masterfully control the whole field.
Yeah.
And then you get George Pickens, the thing that you cannot stop, that thing you cannot teach, that thing you cannot coach. He has. He's a freakish athlete that has a great understanding of the space around him.
Mm-hmm.
And I would call this his way to put his body in position to play,
Mm-hmm.
and his thirst to make that big play. All 50-50 balls slant more like, I want to say 88-12, because I love trying to get 88 in.
Yeah, you're saying something here too. Let me who is this here? Mark. Let me go back. Yeah, Pickens, he kind of reminds you of Dez. But this is the part that you're talking about that I agree with. Pickens is a straight runner. Yeah. If you're talking about when you look at the way he's more of a vertical wide receiver. I noticed that whenever you see Pickens making these catches, they're vertical catch. He's a vertical wide receiver. He is the perfect second wide receiver for CeeDee Lamb. There will be no confusion on what these two receivers are for the Cowboys. And it's exactly what Dak Prescott needs, because you think about Gallup in his prime. I mean, if we could say Gallup in his prime, I mean, it wasn't that long, but Gallup in his prime. Boy, Dak used to throw it up. This dude make acrobatic catches. Pickens, Dak will be able to throw him some of those contested throws. Can we get George Pickens one-on-one? Throw it up, Dak. Throw it up. Pickens will go get it. And the thing about Pickens is crazy. Not only will he go get it, but this dude has a knack, man. He has very good body control. To where when the ball is in the air, he can turn his body in different types of ways. And he has a way of being able to fend off receivers with his body. And he makes his separation. I'm just telling you, when you watch the tape on him, he makes the separation as the ball is in the air and with his body and the catches. Yeah, Pickens is nice. And I'm telling us, he's absolutely nice. He is. And he is a very good compliment to Michael Irvin. All he has to do is come in here and play. All he has to do is come in here with a great attitude. Stu's going to get paid. Stu's going to get flat out paid. He is, because he is that good, for sure.
Everything. But honestly, I can't even use my number here. I got to say 90-10 with this kid. And I keep telling people what happened in Pittsburgh is one thing. Here's going to be different. This kid's going to see this place will love him like I don't know what. And Pittsburgh is a great place. It's a great place. I liken this to Charles Haley. San Francisco was a great place. And Charles Haley had great success.
Yep, we talked about this.
Situation, a great organization.
Yep.
But when he got here,
when he came to Dallas,
he saw the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deion Sanders. San Francisco, great situation.
Yeah.
Great organization. But when he got here, he saw the difference.
It's different.
George Pickens will get here
Yeah.
and see the difference.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I believe that's going to hook him. I look at him, and all the people I talk to back there say he's a good dude. He's a good dude. But he wants to know that you, just like most of us, wants to know that you're going to be ride or die with him. You're going to be in.
Now, again, I talked about this. Y'all heard me talking about this way before this stuff started coming up. But, again, I brought up, look who he played with. The quarterbacks. Come on. And I think another thing, I do believe Mike Tomlin is a leader of men. I do. But I also think that Tomlin is a problem for anybody that's offensive-minded. Tomlin is not offensive-minded. He's defensive-minded. Just look at their draft this year. Mike Tomlin believes in, we don't mind beating a team 13-12. We don't mind beating a team 15.5 to 15 3/4. He don't mind beating teams like he doesn't care. Mike Tomlin is simple. Don't turn the ball over. Defense wins championships. And I'm not really concerned about high scores. All I want to do is win. Bro, you don't win like that. It's hard to win like that in this league unless your defense is lights out. Your defense has to be lights out. And with as fast as offensive players are in this day and age, man, let me tell you something. It's hard to get a defense that's lights out like that. It's hard to get a defense that's lights out like that. And so if you're an offensive-minded player, man, you don't want to go to Pittsburgh. I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to go to Pittsburgh. I'm not saying I'd have a bad attitude, but I tell you this, I wouldn't be happy. Boy, I'd be going home every day, man. I'd have to be praying every single day because I'm like, this ain't it. This ain't it, man. The quarterback's just throwing the ball, the offensive scheme. This is not, man, this ain't it. And I know I'm good, and I know I'm better than what I'm even showing. And he had a great year in 2023. But, man, I could see why he would have some of that, And some of it is he's just a dang on dog. Dez Bryant wasn't a bad dude. But Dez Bryant, it wasn't nothing for Dez Bryant to be into it with a cornerback. Him and a cornerback going back and forth. Him on the sideline, up and down the sideline, talking about let's go, whatever the case may be. So I do believe George Pickens has some of that in him.
In the corner with him. And we will be in the corner with him here. You know what I mean? Treat him like a man, he'll be a man. That's Jimmy's old saying. Treat him like a man, he'll be a man. And we're going to treat him like a man, let him be a man, and it's going to work great. Let me give you some
I got
numbers
you,
that
Lisa.
I put this to. Because I want to talk to you. Let's take their best 2 years. CD's best years, he put about 1,700 yards. You remember that year a couple of years ago, 1,700 yards, man. He caught 135 passes, 135 receptions.
That's too many.
Yards.
I said it too. It's too many.
13 yards, 12.9 yards per play.
Too many.
So this is how George Pickens' best year was 2023. He had 63 receptions for 1,140 yards.
Boy, with you, Mark. I'll take it too.
135 receptions for CD is overworking him. So in order to get this back on top, this is why this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Yeah, Lisa, exactly. CD owns the middle of the field. Pickens owns the outside of the field. You see it easily on tape. He owns the boundaries. Pickens owns those boundaries. CeeDee Lamb owns the middle of the field. You get him in the middle of the field, he'll make you miss, and CD gone to the crib on you.
1,140 yards that George Pickens had. That's an average of 18 yards per play. CD is at 13 yards per play. Remember what I told you, roam in the middle.
You know what? We'll see if he gonna get that 14. Daniel Lim, the only reason I can see him not getting that 14 is that Marquise Bell has a 3-year deal here. We don't know, man. We just got to pray about this thing with Pickens because I think Pickens is going to have a great season. I think he's going to have a great season on the field, on the sideline, and off the field. I think he's going to have a great season. Man, he's going to command some money. He's going to command some money. But you know what? Stranger things have happened. Maybe some teams won't be sold on one season. Maybe they'll want to see more than one season. And if they want to see more than one season, well, the Cowboys may have Pickens wrapped up for another 3 years. So we'll see. We got to pray on this as far as it applies to football. But for sure. Brendan Green, he said there's a piece or two missing on this defense, D tackle and safety. Safety in particular. This organization doesn't seem to take safety seriously, but when we had Woodson, dang it, he commanded the secondary. Now, Brandon, I do think they're serious about the safety position. We're going to see if they put it into action. Marquise Bell is a safety. I believe Marquise Bell is going to be the safety for this team. I'm not sure if it'll be him and Wanye Thomas, but you're not paying Marquise Bell to be whatever he's been on this team for the last few years. No, they're paying Marquise Bell. He's going to compete, and he's going to try to beat somebody at that safety position, and they're going to give him every opportunity. So I do think he's going to be a safety for us. We'll see if they get rid of both of the safeties. JS Tube, said, I never had a problem with Dez or T.O. He said, I don't buy the BS about either. To them, losing was never okay. Now, maybe we got the kind of edge with Pickens. I hope so. You know, I like Dez more than T.O. And from this perspective, because Dez, you could always tell the stuff Dez was doing was not about Dez. The stuff Dez was doing was about winning. T.O. wanted to win, but T.O. was messy too. Man, that dude T.O. was messy, man. T.O. be saying some stuff you ain't got no. T.O. be saying stuff you ain't got no business saying, man. Yeah, T.O. was a little too messy for me because some of the things I took T.O., it was about winning. And then some of the things, it was about T.O. So, but I like Dez's attitude a lot better than T.O.'s. But I would have took both of them. Don't get me wrong. I'd have took both of them. But I'd have been a lot harder. I'd have really been a lot harder on T.O., man, because T.O., man, that man there. Some of the stuff that he did, man, it just wasn't about the team. But again, Michael Irvin is breaking this thing down, man. I absolutely love it. And George Pickens, let me tell you something. George Pickens has a great opportunity. George Pickens has a great opportunity. There's nothing better than when you know what people think about you. What people think about you. It doesn't matter what they think about you. What matters is it true? That's what George Pickens has to concern himself with. Is it true? And if it's true what people are saying from the negative perspective, the only person that can change George Pickens is George Pickens. That's it. George Pickens is the only one that can change George Pickens. George Pickens just needs to change. He can see himself on tape, I'm sure. I'm sure. He knows what's being said about him. All he has to do is change it. Channel it. Channel it in the right way. Channel it. Now you're on a team where they're going to get you the ball. They're going to get George Pickens the ball. He's not going to have to worry about it. They're going to get him the ball. Now, he's going to have to accept the facts that, hey, man, there'll be some games you'll probably get 10, 15 receptions, depending upon what kind of coverage they have on CeeDee Lamb. But then there'll be other games that if CeeDee Lamb is hot and you're the guy that they're covering this week, well, then Dak going to let CeeDee Lamb eat. And then CeeDee Lamb and Pickens are going to have to accept there'll be some weeks where Jaden Blue and the third receiver will probably eat. They all got to be under the understanding this is all about winning. But Pickens, man, all he has to do is channel it. Channel it. Channel it in the right direction. If he channels it in the right direction, he's going to be okay. Now, I saw this right here. I want to go away from Irvin because I know some of you have seen that already. But this thing on Nightcap, this came across the feed today or it was yesterday. Now, it came across the feed the other day, and I was kind of tripping on this. What other teams thought about George Pickens, and another reason why he wounded up with the Cowboys. Let's check this out.
To their roster, according to Jeff Howe of The Athletic. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry.
I see you tell it like it is.
Teams reportedly laughed at the idea of adding George Pickens to their roster, according to Jeff Howe of The Athletic. These were Jeff words exactly. Word leaked during the draft that Pickens was available if anyone wanted him. Some teams polled by The Athletic at the time laughed at the idea of inviting Pickens into their locker room for any price, let alone a second-day draft pick. There wasn't a lot of interest in talking with the Steelers about a trade. Hence, this is why.
You see why the Cowboys were able to circle the block on George Pickens? This is why the Cowboys were able to circle the block on George Pickens. Word gets around about how people feel about a player. I'm sure this is true. I'm sure this is not made up. Because if the Pittsburgh Steelers could have got more for George Pickens, they would have got more for George Pickens. The Cowboys know this. They knew this. And this is why I say I believe that Pickens, I believe George Pickens is a Jerry Jones pick. I believe Pickens is a Jerry Jones pick. I believe Jerry Jones talked to the team, talked to Steven, talked to Will, talked to Brian. Jerry said, I would love to hear the story. But this seems like Jerry is written all over this. Jerry is looking at the talent. Jerry also probably weighed out. Y'all remember when I said, were the Dallas Cowboys putting too much emphasis on character? And then it was like a couple of days later, Brian Schottenheimer comes out and said, we're not just looking for character. We're looking for guys that can play. Okay. So if we're looking for guys that can play, then will we get a guy like George Pickens? Y'all remember what I've been saying? We have to evaluate. Is he a bad guy? Or is he immature, making bad decisions? Maybe he's hanging with the wrong group of people. Maybe his intentions are good. We got to dig into the core of this person and determine if they're just a bad guy or is there some circumstances that they're not handling them correctly. I think that Jerry said, looking at the circumstance, and based on what you're building here, Brian, based on what we built here with you, Brian, I believe we can handle George Pickens. And if George Pickens comes in this atmosphere, we can thrive with George Pickens. And then, who knows, maybe 1 year of good behavior with the Dallas Cowboys isn't good enough for other teams, or maybe the other teams who want George Pickens, the situation won't be better than the Cowboys. And especially if you're talking about going to one of those East Coast, West Coast teams where they have state taxes, a very high living cost. Cost of living is very high. Maybe he'll weigh out all of that. All of that. And the team that he's on and the success that we may have with him this year. George Pickens looks at all of that and say, I want to stay with Dallas. They gave me a chance when nobody else would. Cost of living. Great team. We're on to something. I mean, it looks like we're on a chip run. George Pickens may wind up staying here. But again, this is why the Cowboys knew they could circle the block on George Pickens. He wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't going anywhere. Because if he was going somewhere, he was out there even when the Cowboys got him now. This is crazy when you talk about it. But again, hey, one man's trash, as someone said, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Sometimes people need a new start, fresh start, new beginning. Sometimes they need those things. George Pickens, I believe, needed that. And I believe that based on even what George Pickens is saying, I think he's thankful for that. And I think George Pickens is going to be fine. And, man, let me tell you something about this dude, Ocho Cinco, boy. Chad Ocho Cinco, boy, he is a player's player, man. That boy Ocho Cinco be going for them players, man. Check us out.
Why the trade happened after the draft. Nobody was interested.
Now, I also would love to hear the teams that weren't interested. And the team that did laugh or had something to say slick about it. Now,
Boy, that boy Ocho Cinco don't play when it comes to them players, boy. He don't play when it comes to them players. And he definitely don't play when it comes to those wide receivers. check out Ocho Cinco.
he had on field, but let's talk about what he does on the field.
Yes, sir.
We've had small instances of him where he's loafed, where he hasn't blocked, being lazy on
Hadn't run hard.
not running hard. Now let's talk about the times and when he does play hard and what he can do for you when he gets the ball in his hands. There's a bunch of teams that could actually use that.
I see you, Jenkins.
A bunch of teams that can actually use that. You know, who don't have anybody.
Ocho, you do realize his job is to play hard all the time.
I understand that, but can I tell you something too? Every receiver doesn't play hard all the time.
Ocho, it can't be that obvious.
I
You
know.
can't see the ball
I'm with you when you're right. Listen, I'm with you when you're right.
Yes, sir. Tell it like it is.
And not
It's
try to
magnified.
Yeah.
It's magnified. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. But you're right. You're right.
But see, the problem that he has is that if that's Randy Moss, he ain't Moss.
Yeah.
He ain't Jerry Rice. So you
Joe Smith, Joe Smith. Shannon Sharp is making your argument for you. Let's check out Shannon Sharp is making your argument, Joe Smith. Joe Smith said, let's chill. Can't compare Pickens to Moss. Well, Shannon Sharp is agreeing with you.
You don't get to have that luxury of taking a play
Randy was
off.
funny with it, boy. Hey, Randy was funny with it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't everybody ain't
When
Randy.
George Pickens can give you 23 touchdowns, when he can give you 16, 1,700 yards,
Now, listen,
take a play off.
Now he's that type of
I
player.
feel you,
though.
Jenkins.
But you know what it takes to get that? It takes opportunities. It takes the ball. It does. And we understand the quarterback carousel and the issues they had offensively over there where that wasn't the case. He's that type of talent. Now,
you can't start off like that, Ocho.
Huh?
You can't start off like
CW.
that. You can't be like that your first couple of years.
CW.
You got to get some.
But hey, man, this dude Ocho Cinco, man, have you ever watched Nightcap, boy? Boy, this boy Ocho Cinco, boy, he is a player's player. Ocho Cinco is always on the side of the players. I love it, though. I love it. He should, I'm not saying he should be when they're wrong, but I think that Ocho Cinco, he's been a player. And again, tell it like it is. I think you mentioned this. Man, all these wide receivers are divas. I mean, they all divas, man. All these wide receivers are divas. I mean, we watched the last two seasons, 2023. We watched CD Lamb crash out in the Green Bay game. Then he missed the whole training camp, comes back in the first few games, and starts crashing out again. And he matured on down through the season. Now, he's going to have to be really mature because he's going to have to be one of the guys that's going to have to keep George Pickens' head in the game and understanding what's going on, as far as what the plan is and, the direction the team is going in. Now he's going to have to be a mentor.
So you got to get some seniority under your belt.
Right. Hey,
That's year 5, year 6 after you've been to the Pro Bowl 3 or 4 times. You've been a first team All-Pro a couple of times. You can't do that coming out the box.
I know. We were frustrated. I know we were frustrated like a, you know what, I know he was because you look at people, you look at some of the players, even you doing. If I think it was you that did the comparison as far from a talent standpoint when it was coming out the draft. I mean, dude, immensely talented. There's just another side that once we fix that up, he matures a little bit.
Hey, man, Pickens is sick with it. Pickens, I'm telling you, there is no getting around it. Pickens is talented. And I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's an immature guy. But he's talented. And I do believe he's going to be on his best behavior this year. He has no choice. If he don't be on his best behavior this year, he's going to throw away $20 million a year easy. Somewhere upwards of a $70 to $90 million guaranteed deal. No, I believe George Pickens is going to be on his best behavior. And there's been these people throwing out these stats talking about wide receivers who left the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were never as successful. Strange. Because I remember these wide receivers leaving Pittsburgh and getting Super Bowls. Antonio Brown, he left Pittsburgh. He got a Super Bowl. Juju Smith-Schuster, he left Pittsburgh. He got a Super Bowl. What are we talking about? I think sometimes people don't think. George Pickens might not do as well with the Cowboys because he's been the number one receiver. AB with the Steelers was the number one receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster, he became the number one receiver. But then when Juju Smith-Schuster goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, well, they have Travis Kelce. They have other receivers. The pie gets cut up different. The pie gets cut up different. You're no longer the number one receiver. And so if you're no longer the number one receiver, then what do we expect? What do we expect? We can't expect anything but what we're getting. Even CeeDee Lamb. I'm sure CeeDee Lamb is already understanding. With the weapons the Cowboys have this year, CeeDee Lamb is not going to have as many yards as he's had in the past. He probably won't have as many touchdowns. When you get a team, see, let me help us for a moment, and then y'all comment in the chat. Y'all tell me what you think. But let me tell you what people have to understand. So when you're I've talked about this even as it pertains to the Cowboys. When you're top heavy and you don't have a really good team, but you have really good players, you'll notice on those teams where they have really good players, but the team really isn't that good. You ever notice those teams have like quite a few Pro Bowlers? They'll have Pro Bowlers because you'll have a player, they have 3, 4, 5 players. They're extremely good. They're making all the tackles. They're making all the catches. They're getting all the carries. I mean, they're standing out because there's no one else. You ever notice about these Super Bowl teams? A lot of times on these Super Bowl teams, why don't they have the most Pro Bowlers? Why don't the Super Bowl teams have the most Pro Bowlers? Think about Micah Parsons. Do not be surprised. Micah Parsons signs this huge contract. And Micah Parsons doesn't have as many sacks as he had over the last few years. Is his performance going to dip? No. The team around him is better. The team around Micah Parsons is better. Do not be surprised if his sack total goes down. I will not be surprised if Micah Parsons' sack total goes down because you have Dante Fowler. You have Donovan Ezeraku, who's an absolute technician and is going to get to the quarterback. Also, Diggy is probably going to take another step this year. Mozzie is probably going to take a step this year. When you think about when you have better players around you, you don't get all those opportunities when you're the best player on the defense per se, and everyone else, you're up here and everybody else is down here. When everybody is kind of up in here, you don't eat the same. You don't eat the same. Why? Because you're spreading it around more. You're not the only dog in the kennel anymore. You got a whole bunch of dogs in the kennel, man. Everybody's tearing a piece of that meat. Everybody's getting after it. That's what happens when you get on good teams. So, CeeDee Lamb, he's not going to catch for as many yards. I'm not going to be surprised if he doesn't catch for as many yards. George Pickens is going to have to accept the fact he's probably not going to catch for as many yards. Why? Because you got Jaden Blue. They're going to run the ball. We're not going to turn into Pittsburgh. Y'all, we need to maybe temper our expectations because everybody's like, yeah, man, we need to run the ball first. We are going to run the ball first, but we're still going to try to get big plays. Brian Schottenheimer's still going to try to get big plays. So you don't eat as much. You don't eat as much when you have a good team. And that's why I would rather be on a good team. I would rather be on a good team. You think about teams, basketball. You think about Jordan and the Bulls. You think about when Michael Jordan got Scottie Pippen, what happened? He didn't have to score as much. No, now you can spread the wealth. Hey, Scottie, need you to get some points tonight, man. I mean, I'm going to get my 30. But I don't have to get 40 tonight. I don't have to get 45. I don't have to get 50. I don't have to do that stuff no more. I don't have to come in a playoff game and scoring 60 and trying to get 70 points. Man, I don't need that no more. All I need is my 30. I'm going to get the team to 30. I need somebody. I got other players on the team. We're spreading the wealth. We're going to spread the wealth. And that's what happens when you get on good teams. So, again, don't be surprised with what we're watching. Some of the stats on these players are going to go down. Even with one George Pickens. He's going to eat. I have a feeling he's going to probably have the most touchdowns on the team this year because of the type of receiver he is. He's going to eat. But again, yeah, he ain't Randy Moss. I mean, Randy Moss was a doggone unicorn. I mean, he ain't Randy Moss. But again, I love our Ocho Cinco boy. Cinco be going for these players, boy. Cinco be fighting for them players.
He's going to be all right. Listen, after that conversation I had with him, he's going to be all right. He's not going to have no issues in Dallas.
Cinco said he's been mentoring George Pickens. And I hope this is true. He said he's been mentoring him. And he's saying that ever since he talked to him last year, he said there's been no problems with George Pickens. I hope it's true. I say keep on. I say, yeah, Claypool didn't quite turn out. But these other wide receivers, man, they went on to win Super Bowls. Yeah, they went on to go win Super Bowls. And it's understandable that their production goes down because now they're on better teams. But Antonio Brown, even though he didn't get the kind of he didn't do some of the things he did with Big Ben, shoot, man, Antonio Brown dominated still. There's a reason why Tom Brady wanted him. Dominated. Metro Boom 808, what's going on? He said, we're going to the playoffs. Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah, Bro Dose, what's up? He said, yeah, Mozzie better. I think he's going to be better. Ryan, he said, Michael needs to learn the dirty work because we really need a dominant linebacker. We've had pass rushers. Yeah, we got pass rushers now. I do believe that Matt Eberflus is probably going to play Michael Parsons in different positions. Daniel said we should be focused on defensive tackle and cornerback additions for the defense because do y'all remember, trust Mozzie as a full-time one tech. Oh, do we? Hey, I think Mozzie's going to take a step this year. I think he's going to take another step. Lee, he said Shannon is weak-minded. Skip turned him into a Cowboy hater because Skip always needs a Dallas Cowboy hater to debate against. Skip Bayless pushed and molded Shannon into a hater. And you know what, Lee? I think Skip Bayless is a Dallas Cowboy hater. He says he's a Dallas Cowboy fan. He's a Dallas Cowboy hater. Skip Bayless and Lee Time, you saying something here. Skip Bayless is the type of fan that makes you hate the Dallas Cowboys. And that to me isn't actually a Dallas Cowboy fan. Skip Bayless turns people into Dallas Cowboy haters. He does. He turns them into Dallas Cowboy haters. And that's why he had to go off TV. But again, when you think about it, man, these players, when you think about it, man, these players, they're going to eat less. And this is actually what I want for the Cowboys. We don't need George Pickens to come in here with a 1,300 yard, 19 touchdowns. I mean, it'd be great. But that's not what we really need him for. I'm not going to be surprised if he's a 1,000-yard receiver and CeeDee Lamb is a 1,000-yard receiver too. They're going to spread the wealth. CeeDee Lamb is going to get the majority of the passes. But again, there will be games. There will be games. They're going to test out George Pickens. But again, man, George Pickens been shaming number one cornerbacks. I mean, he's been doing it. He's been shaming number one cornerbacks. But this is one of the reasons why I also think it is important for the third wide receiver for the Cowboys to be great. The third wide receiver for the Cowboys can't be good. He has to be great. Because there will be teams. I promise you there will be teams. They will have two cornerbacks that will be good enough. Not to stop CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, but they'll be good enough to limit them to a degree. You can take one receiver out of the game. You can slow down two. You can't stop three. It's very few teams that can stop three wide receivers, man. Not three. The third wide receiver for the Cowboys. It is going to be vitally important that the third receiver is good. But again, this is why the Cowboys felt like they could circle the block on George Pickens, because they know this is out here about George Pickens. But again, Jerry Jones, also, we got a culture. We can help Pickens. Not only can we help him, we can benefit from him. So Jerry, hey, this thing to me has Jerry written all over it.
Because listen, my back against the wall now. You're seeing all the young bulls get paid.
Yeah.
They're making big money. You need to be a $30-35 million receiver. You can be that if you show this year in Dallas.
Yep.
The world is watching now.
Yep.
You on the biggest stage, baby. You on the biggest stage. Just go out there, do what you need to do, handle your business, and get your bag in the offseason.
Boy, hey, man, the boy Joe Cinco is preaching football. This man said you on the biggest stage. Y'all know what the biggest stage is. It's the Dallas Cowboys. It don't get no bigger. It don't get no bigger than the Dallas Cowboys, man. No bigger. Boy, he got an opportunity of a lifetime. Man, you have to really be thanking God when the stars line up for you. There will be times in our life where it seems like everything just lines up. You're in a bad situation in Pittsburgh. The reputation is out on you in Pittsburgh. You got a bad attitude. And you're saying people don't understand you. The Dallas Cowboys have been needing a number 2 wide receiver for 2 years. The Dallas Cowboys now decide that we're going to get in, win now, and run for the chip for the next 3 seasons. They need a number 2 wide receiver. Don't get one in the draft. You're the best wide receiver. Let me tell you about it. If you could talk to people by themselves on some of these teams, they would tell you they probably believe George Pickens is a top 10 wide receiver in this league. And as Shannon is reporting, the only thing that stopped teams from going after George Pickens is his attitude. It's the only thing. When you get this opportunity to play on a team that is in the spotlight like the Dallas Cowboys, where the cameras are always going to be on you, the quarterback is going to throw you the ball, what better situation to be in to prove people wrong than to now be the number 2 wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys? Man, you don't even have to compete. All you have to do is be you on the field. Just be you. You're the number 2 receiver on the most popular sports franchise in the world. Man, boy, you can't ask for anything more than that. You just can't.
Most receiving yards in the Steelers drafted in the last 20 years. Antonio Brown was a 6th-round draft pick in 2010. He averaged 86.2 yards with the Steelers. He averaged 67.8 with 2 teams after that. Mike Wallace was around.
And he got a Super Bowl. See, this isn't telling the story. Antonio Brown got a Super Bowl.
3 pick in 2009.
I'm about to cash this check.
Yeah, he got a Super Bowl. See, you got to tell that part too. You got to tell that part too.
Less than 50 with 4 teams after that. Santonio Holmes, 64 yards with the Steelers, round 1 selection in 2006, 42 yards with 2 teams after he left. Juju, 61 yards with the Steelers.
Got a Super Bowl.
35 yards, 2 teams after he left the Steelers.
Yeah.
George Pickens, round 2, 2022.
Yep.
59 yards. We'll see what he averaged.
Exactly.
Deontay Johnson, 2019, a round 3 selection. 57 yards, 31.3, 3 teams after. Sometimes the grass ain't always greener.
Wait,
now,
the
look,
great-
the
listen.
Steelers don't have, the one thing we know about the Steelers,
Yeah.
though, Ocho, they ain't got no problem moving
Yeah,
on from a receiver.
They don't. After they get what they want to out of them, they get a whole lot of production out of the one they move on from first. Now, so
I mean, you think about it.
Now, but let's also think about something else that he's not talking about, the context. You notice what all of those receivers had in common. They're the number 1 receivers. Who is the receiver opposite of them? Who are the receivers opposite of them? Who are those receivers playing with? What quarterbacks are they playing with? And then when they go to these other teams, you think about what happens. They don't go to these other teams and be the number 1 wide receiver a lot of times. They don't go to these teams to be, and if they are the number 1 receiver, that team has other weapons. And again, I'm sorry, Antonio Brown was still devastating. He was still big plays with other teams. Got him a Super Bowl. So did Juju Smith-Schuster. Got a Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes. I'll take that. I'll take that over getting all them yards with Pittsburgh and basically doing nothing. Oh, I'll take that every day of the week. And, man, George Pickens is young. George Pickens is young. He's 24 years old. This dude's whole career is in front of him. Whole career in front of him. What are he tripping on? No, all he has to do, go to the Cowboys, do what he's supposed to do, and if nobody signs him, you better believe Cowboys gonna sign him. Now they ain't gonna sign him for no $35 million a season. That Ocho Cinco talking about. They ain't gonna sign him for that. But he'll get a good deal with the Cowboys. He'll get a good deal with the Cowboys. Aggie Private Life, he said, Ugg just wants to talk about the bad stuff concerning Pickens, mainly because of the Cowboys. And you know what? Lee Time said something. Being across from Skip Bayless turned him into a Cowboy hater. I don't think he was a Cowboy hater like that until he got with Skip Bayless. I don't think he was that bad until he got with Skip Bayless. Pure gaming, yeah. Antonio Brown had Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback ever. Yep. Got him a Super Bowl. CW, he says predictions are 2 wide receiver sets. Tight end, running back, blue as the passing game. Yeah. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, highest paid Jerry style. I see you. Lisa, yeah. Lisa says she hopes he get the bag with Dallas. I think he will. If he goes in there and does what he's supposed to do. Aaron Wesley, the popular media will never tell the whole story. They just want to speak negative narratives because it's the Cowboys. Yep. Because I'm telling you, it ain't as bad as, again, and you think about this league, man. This league is very finicky. This league gets something out on you, man. Look at Shedeur Sanders, for example. When this league puts something out on you, man, these guys are this league is so wishy-washy. Owners and coaches sometimes, they're so wishy-washy. Man, they'll throw a player away in a minute. They will throw a player away in a minute, in a New York minute. They will. Brodos, he said he's getting paid. Unfortunately, His skill is very uncommon. Hard to get a pass rush of his caliber. Oh, you're talking about Michael Parsons. Oh, yeah, he's going to get paid. If that's what you're talking about, no doubt about it. Yep. Bro, those. Pickens get paid. All he got to do is come in here and do what he's supposed to do. He going to get paid. Yeah, it's going to work out for Pickens, I believe. I don't know if it's going to work out here because I'm just telling you, shoot, man, this dude got a skill set. And I noticed he said he doesn't want to negotiate no contract with the Cowboys already. And y'all do know who his agent is. His agent is the same as Mulugeta. Same agent as Michael Parsons. Shoot, Mulugeta's already told him, hey, man, you're going to do what you're supposed to do. You're going to hit the lottery. Yeah, you're going to hit the lottery. So it's going to be all good, man. I think it's going to work out for him. I really do. I'm pulling for him, too. I'm pulling for him. I always want guys, man, we should always want people to do, sometimes, man, people are just immature. They're young. They're immature. Sometimes we have to remember, man, I got 4 sons. I have to remember sometimes, boy, I wasn't always who I am now. I wasn't always who I am now. So, sometimes we act like we were born grown, born Christians, and born whatever else we are. But, hey, man, it took sometimes some hard knocks to get where we are. Took some mistakes to get where we are. And so, I'm always glad when guys can, they get another opportunity to get it right. But when they get that opportunity to get it right, as I always tell my sons, it's not the mistakes that you make, but it's what you do after you make the mistakes. That's what matters. And so I'm pretty sure he can look at himself on tape and know, okay, I got a reason for feeling the way I do, but I got to be smarter because this isn't just football. This is the football business. This is the football business. And, boy, these jokers will throw you away in this league in a minute, man. They'll throw you away in this league. So, again, I just thought that was very interesting. Michael Irvin on George Pickens. And then when I saw this thing on Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, I thought that was funny when they were talking about George Pickens, too. And so George Pickens is going to be the talk for a while until the Cowboys go and get that other player, which I do think. I don't know if they'll do it in the next couple of weeks. I think the Cowboys may slow it down, and then they get that player post June 1st. Jenkins game, and I agree with you. Always draft a running back every 4 years. No doubt. No doubt, because a lot of these running backs, they come with a lot of mileage, and you might not want to pay one. You might not want to pay one. So you want to kind of, you might want to keep a fresh stall of them running backs. Daniel M., he said, gee, Michael's going to get $200 million on his next deal. Yeah, it's going to happen, and I'm going to be utterly shocked when that happens, but I also expected it too. Yeah, the thing with Michael Parsons, though, we're going to see what the guaranteed money is. We're going to see what the guaranteed money is because, $200 million for a edge rusher, what's the guaranteed money? That's all we're concerned about. That $200 million stuff don't mean squat. $200 million just mean, okay, it's up to $200 million, $130 million guaranteed. And then when we get to the 4th year of the contract, we'll make a decision on whether we want to keep you or not, and we'll renegotiate, and then we'll do this. And this is how they do these deals. So the $200 million thing isn't even going to impress me. All I'm listening for is the guaranteed money. John Sparks, he said Pickens will be great this year. I agree. But Jerry will franchise tag him. Not going to happen. I do not believe there's no way Jerry pays George Pickens $28 million for one season. Oh, no. No. $28 million for one season? Jerry would be crazy to do that. The best thing the Cowboys can do, John, they need to try to sign him. $29 million is too much. Because we're not talking about $29 million that you can break up and kick down into the void years, man. You're talking about off the top. Boy, that's a lot of money, man. Nah, I don't think the Cowboys are going to do that. I think what the Cowboys are going to try to do is somewhere down in the season, probably when they get to around game 11 and 12, they're going to start trying to get that deal done. But think about it like this. Even if George Pickens is a 1-year rental, you will still get the compensatory pick back for him. And you'll be able to go in the draft and get another top flight receiver. The Cowboys have set themselves up to where next year they'll be able to go best player available again. And this time they probably will get whoever the best wide receiver on the board is. Yeah, they got some options. But again, let's see what he does this year. Let's see what he does this year. And if he does well and they can work a deal out, hey, I'm not going to be mad. But we got to see all this stuff on field. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, straight up, he got to make a splash this season. He does. Jared Garcia, Jerry with franchise tag. Boy, he better not. I wonder what the franchise tag will be. I wonder what the franchise tag will be on Micah Parsons. But he's already under contract. I mean, he's already signed, if I'm not mistaken, he's already signed his 5th-year option. There's nothing he can do. He's already signed the 5th-year option. The Cowboys own 2 tags on him. So the Cowboys, but I don't think they want to kind of spend that money like that on him. They probably need to go ahead. If they're going to keep him, they just need to go ahead and sign him. Daniel Lim, that's probably what they're going to try to do. They're going to probably try and surpass, because this is how people do these contracts. They just try to keep surpassing the next player that's up on the totem pole. And eventually what we're going to get to again is a player probably going to get to a position salary cap or something to that effect. Pure Gaming saying, I'm saying Antonio Brown won a Super Bowl. Yeah, with the best quarterback ever. And Juju went to a 2-time Super Bowl champ, best quarterback in the league. If they went anywhere else, they wouldn't have a ring. Yeah, but again, I get exactly what you're saying, Pure Gaming. But again, we also got to think about when you talk about the yardage going down. That's another reason why the yardage went down. They went to Super Bowl teams. And when you're on Super Bowl teams, you're just not going to have those kind of yards. I mean, unless you got one of those teams that's just Dan Fouts, Eric Coryell, but even they didn't go to a Super Bowl. Derek says Pickens will get $23 million a year on a 4-year deal. $23 million. We'll see. We'll see. I'm very interested to see how it turns out. Gabe says, bottom line, he says George Pickens' salary for 2025, there it is. 1-year rental that matches up with all the other low-cost, low-risk 1-year deals the Cowboys made in free agency. High ceiling. High risk, high reward. And if the reward is high, he'll get paid. He'll get paid. And I'm pretty sure he'll weigh it out. Because, so if the Cowboys offer you $20 million a year for 3 years, and the New York Giants, per se, were to offer you $25 million for 3 years, $25 million a year for 3 years, well, you might as well stay in Dallas. Because by the time the cost of living and taxes and state taxes are done with you, you'll be making way less than $20 million. You'll be making way less than $20 million. The Dallas area is a very good area to live in. So it wouldn't surprise me if he took less money to even stay here, because it would almost be like making more money. Daniel said, the order should be Michael, Bland, Pickens, and Smith, Ferguson, and Aubrey as the next guys who will get extended. Oh, no doubt. Aubrey's on the last year. Ferguson got to play for it. Ferguson's got to play for it. We're going to see with Ferguson. Michael Parsons is already on the 5th year. So there's really no rush to sign him unless Michael Parsons is saying he's not going to play on that 5th-year option. Now, if Michael Parsons is not playing on that 5th-year option, now you're going to have a problem. Now you're going to have a problem because now you have to – now he's got you in a chokehold, because you're either going to say, okay, we're going to play without Michael Parsons and let him get penalized on money and see who says chicken first, or you just go ahead and break down and pay him. I think one of the mistakes the Cowboys have made on Michael Parsons, though, they should have paid Michael Parsons way back. Way back. This is a mistake. This is the same mistake they made with Dak Prescott. They should have paid Michael Parsons way back. There's no doubt about it. Oak Cliff, I agree with you. Ferg is on notice. Yeah, he got to play for it. He got to play for it. Ferg been tripping. Cowboy Nation's 808. He said Ferg not on notice. I think he is. Yeah, I think Ferg's on notice. Ferg got to show us. Ferg hasn't showed us what Travis Kelce said yet. We've seen splash and potential, but we haven't seen what Travis Kelce said. He's supposed to be the next one. Well, when he gonna show us? Ferg got to ball out this year. He does. Lisa said if you franchise Pickens, you might as well give him a bag and a 3-year contract for real. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it, Lisa. I think the Cowboys full well know what they have with George Pickens. I think they full well know what they have, and they had the discussion because we're having the discussion. So I know they're smarter than us. They are bringing him in with the understanding this could be a 1-year rental if his attitude is bad, or if he plays so good and has a good attitude that there are other teams come knocking on the door and they want to make him a number one. We have to remember, George Pickens is not a number 2 receiver. And I don't even want to call him a number 2 receiver on the Cowboys. Is he a number 2 receiver? We're calling him the number 2 receiver. George Pickens isn't a number 2 receiver. George Pickens is a number 1 receiver. And I'm sure he views himself as a number 1 receiver. I'm sure he does. That's one of the reasons why he said he doesn't get into the number 1 and number 2 receiver stuff, because the teams of old, the championship teams of old, had 2 elite wide receivers. What did he just tell you? 2 elite receivers? Yeah, I'm a number 1 too. Yeah, whatever CD is, I'm that. I'm just a different type, but I'm that too. And his numbers, they're number 1 receiver numbers. So the Cowboys knew full well what they were doing with George Pickens. They know the risk. They know they can get the third back. They know everything about what they're doing. And so if George Pickens goes out there and gets paid, the Cowboys will be like, okay, go get paid. We won games, won a playoff game, or whatever they do. They got that part out of him. And if they can get the long-term deal, they'll get it. But if they don't, the draft will be coming back around again. The Cowboys better go in the draft and get a top-flight receiver this time. They know what they're doing with this. It's really a no-lose situation for the Cowboys. I'm pretty sure that's how they're viewing it, as a no-lose situation. Daniel M., he said, if you had to choose between Gilmore, Alexander, and Samuel as a cornerback addition, who would it be and why? I would take Asante Samuel as a slot receiver. I would take Gilmore because he's a savvy veteran, and, man, he just knows the game. What he lacks in speed, he'll beat you with his mind. Now, I would take Jair Alexander because he's a younger guy, and I could probably get him on a longer deal. I might want to get him on a longer deal and really solidify my defensive backfield. So that's kind of where I go with all 3 of them. I won't be surprised if they bring in Stephon Gilmore. Yeah, Alex, I agree. Again, ain't no way Jerry franchise tag Pickens. I don't think so either. That's too much money. He ain't going to do it. Yeah, Alex, I'm with you. I hope he ends up loving the city of Dallas and takes less than CD, but we'll see. And not to mention, man, again, the cost of living going anywhere else. Texas is a great place to live. It is. It's a great place to live. Warren says give him a 5-year deal if he wants to ball out. Let's see what he does. All right, let's look at this last story before we get out of here tonight. Man, let me tell you something, Cowboys Nation 808. I'm actually shocked that Brandon Aubrey is going to kick on the deal that he's on. Brandon Aubrey is on a 1-year deal. I'm shocked he's going to kick on it. And I think he's, 30 years old this year? I'm shocked Brandon Aubrey is going to kick on that. Todd Francis is his agent too. Same agent as Dak Prescott. Man, I am shocked. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. John Sparks, I think they should have already signed Brandon Aubrey. Man, I mean, if he plays on that last year of that deal, hey, I'm glad. But boy, I'm just shocked that he's doing it. I mean, you're talking about, man, you're a kicker. Do we not realize that a kicker goes out here, man, and tears a knee or even if a kicker pulls a hamstring, they're not the same anymore. Boy, he's taking a risk. But if he does it, I love it. Mark says you cannot be a number 1 receiver if you're a straight runner. That's what he's been in Pittsburgh. But again, I see what you're saying, as far as the versatility goes. But if you're as productive as he's been putting up them number 1 receiver numbers. But I think with the Cowboys, I think Dak may bring something else out of him. I really do. I think Dak may bring something else out of him. Deshaun Harrison, ain't no way. Too hard to do, bro. Ain't gonna happen. No back-to-back Super Bowls for the Eagles. Too hard to do. It's hard, man. It's hard. Anybody who's ever done it, they'll tell you that's hard to do, bro. Yeah, Diggs is going to be expendable once Savon settles in. Yeah, he will go all-pro cornerback guarantee. And if Kalen Carson can step up like Bland, it's goodbye Diggs. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's true. Yeah. But again, they definitely need to see about they definitely need to still see about the cornerback position. And again, let's look at this roster real quick again before we go and finish our last story for tonight. Appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. If you're not a member, please subscribe tonight. Hit that notification bell. But when you look at this Dallas Cowboys depth chart, we are so much better in so many places, but we still need a little bit of tweaking. I mean, especially if you just – the Cowboys, I believe, can roll with what they have right now and be competitive. But if you're really talking about winning, you could probably do with some tweaking. You know, you can still tweak the team a little bit. You know, when you look at the offense, again, I kind of like where we are with wide receiver. But again – I'm kind of in two different spaces. I want to see if Mingo and Tolbert make a step this year. I think the CeeDee Lamb and Pickens are good enough on the outside. Can we let these two battle it out? And actually, these three battle it out. Trayshawn, Holden, Flournoy in there too. Can these wide receivers battle it out? But when I think about progress, I do think that Tolbert has a leg up on the rest of them. Because every time Dak works out, Jalen Tolbert is there. So Jalen Tolbert, Mingo, you know, give them an opportunity to be the third wide receiver. Third wide receiver is going to be very important. I still think on our offensive side of the ball, I think our middle is solidified. Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker. Our questions are the tackles. Our questions are the tackles. Terrence Steele, Tyler Guyton. They're the questions. Everybody's saying that Tyler Guyton is going to make a step this year. I hope he does. But at the same time, I think that Austin Richards could step in there. Brock Hoffman is a dog. Brock Hoffman is versatile enough. Brock Hoffman could step in one of those. I believe he can step into the right tackle. I'm not sure about left, but Brock Hoffman can play all over the place. Now, left tackle, that's a different animal. Everybody can't play left tackle. Boy, that's a different animal. But, man, I am so hoping that Guyton – I'm hoping that Guyton is what he's supposed to be this year. And, again, I think the tight end room, Jake Ferguson, I think the tight end room is good enough. Schoonmaker made a step last year, so you got Jake Ferguson. Spanford, he's dependable. And I also think these guys may try to push him, but they may wind up on the practice squad, one of the two of them. Quarterback room, good. Running back room. The running back room is good. But I'm looking at the running back room saying, but I want Phil Maffa to make the move. I think Phil Maffa needs to move to the number one back. And Jaden Blue be the change of pace back. And then we have Javonte Williams in the room. You know, we have him in as maybe the veteran presence. And then cuts Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn. You either cut him or he goes to the practice squad. Now, when you look at our defense, we don't need no more help on the edge. But we got so many edge rushers, but we're going to be crazy on the outside. There is no doubt about it. We don't need nothing else, man. We got Fowler, Ezraku, Sal Williams. Boy, we got so much on the edge. Michael Parsons, Marshawn Nealon, Peyton Turner, Tyrus Wheat. Boy, we got so much on the edge, man. We don't need nothing else on the edge. Now, as it applies to defensive tackle, in particular, the one tech that everyone keeps talking about, we're hoping that Mozzie is going to make this next step this year. Also, Diggy Zua, we already know what he is. I'm very confident in Solomon Thomas. Jay Toia, we got to understand, He's not going to come in here and tear the league up. Jay To'Aya will help us in the run game, I believe, immediately in some of the short yardage stuff if they decide to put him in on that, or he wants to spell Mozzie Smith. But again, he's a rookie. He's not going to come in and tear the league up. We got Tommy Akingbasadi, still going to be developmental also. So the Cowboys, don't get me wrong, they can roll with this. They can roll with this. I do believe the Cowboys can roll with what they have. But if they really want to make that next step in being competitive, they could get another, and I guess everybody keeps talking about the one tech. They could, but again, I think they can still roll with it and be fine, because if Mozzie is supposed to take that step, then let Mozzie take that step. I think we're wanting some insurance, but hey, maybe the Cowboys say, hey, bro, step it up. Work your way. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you are. Let's see what you made of. And maybe they let him play it. I don't think we have to have that one tech the way people say. I don't think we have to have it, but I think it would be good to have. I think it would be good to have, especially if you want to be competitive. Linebacker, we're great. We're great. Maurice, Sanborn. People keep talking like crazy about Shamar James. We're going to see if Damone Clark makes a step. Kenneth Murray. Demarion Overshown will be back at some point. Agent Zero. Linebacker, I think is pretty much solidified. Cornerback is where we probably, I think the cornerback thing is a priority over the defensive tackle one tech thing. Because we have a one tech. I think what people are saying is we don't trust Mozzie Smith. As much as people keep saying he's going to make a step, people are saying they don't trust him. We got Mozzie Smith. The issue is people are just saying they think we just need something else. And so I would rather the Cowboys look at the cornerback position first, because really we just got Deron Bland. We got to see Savon Revel Jr. We got to see if, and I think he will be healthy. We got to see what Kyrie Elam is. Trayvon Diggs, I just think we need to go ahead and write him off for the season. Even if he comes back, we're writing him off. Safeties, we've already been talking about the safeties. I think they need to change out to Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas. And again, who is going to be the nickel corner? So I think the cornerback room, even though there's a lot of players on there, I think the cornerback room is where they really need to focus next. I think they really need to focus on the cornerbacks next. I would love them to bring in Asante Samuel, just, kick the tires on him, see what he is. Definitely want Stephon Gilmore. Jair Alexander, if you can get him in for the right price. And don't get me wrong, this all to me looks better than what we were in last year. Looks better than what we were even in 2023. But if you're really, really talking about competing, I think you need to tweak some of this too. I think it needs to be tweaked a little bit. But again, we could roll with this, guys. I know we want to keep rolling, and we can. And I think the Cowboys are. But at the end of the day, they can roll with this. The Cowboys can absolutely roll with this. Whether we like it or not, the Cowboys can roll with this roster and still be very competitive. They can roll with this roster. They can. But it's starting to look like now the Cowboys are wanting to, it looks like to me, even though they're gearing up for a chip run in 26 and 27, it also looks like now they want to win now. They also want to win this year. And if the possibility is there, if they could catch that genie in a bottle, I think they're now saying, we'll take it if we can get it. We'll take it if we can get it. Yeah, let me go down to the chat, because let me go to a couple of comments as we're talking about defensive tackle. See, I think we're saying something here. I think we're basically saying we don't trust Mozzie. I think we're basically saying we don't trust Mozzie Smith. I think that's what we're saying. Whether we admit it or not, we're saying we don't trust Mozzie Smith. We don't trust him. And everybody's already saying that Jay Toia is not going to come in here and tear up the league. We know this too. If anybody who thinks he's going to come in and tear up the league, no, he's not going to come in and tear up the league. So I think what we're wanting is some insurance. Some insurance. That's what everyone is wanting. And so let me read a couple of comments here. Daniel Liam, he says, would you trade a second and Sam Williams for DeForest Buckner? Man, they may have to trade Sam Williams. But you know, let me preface that with this. Is Dante Fowler more than a 1-year rental? I'm not sure the Cowboys are going to. I'm almost positive they're not going to keep Dante Fowler past this year. So I think Dante Fowler is here because the Cowboys wants Sam Williams to step up. I think they want Sam Williams to step up because Fowler is a 1-year deal. If I'm not mistaken, he's the 1 year. I think it's a 1 year. They want Sam Williams to step up. They want him to step up. So they may not want to trade Sam Williams. Yeah, I'm not sure they want to trade him. I'm not sure they want to trade. I'm not sure they want to trade Sam Williams, Daniel. I'm not sure they want to trade him. I think the Cowboys want him to develop too. I think they want him. I think they want him to allow them to say, "Hey, we can let Dante Fowler go this year," because he's a 1-year rental. He's a 1-year rental too. So, but again, I think there was one of these defensive tackles. Who is it? I think the guy that I think the rumor mill was circulating about. I think the rumor mill was circulating about I think it was a defensive tackle from the Detroit Lions. I think that's who everybody's been talking about. King, let's see, hold on. So I got a super chat here. My man Alex, appreciate the super chat. Now, Alex, this is why I keep telling people now. Just because Brian Schottenheimer said he's going to run the ball, do not mistake that for the Cowboys are not going to have a prolific passing game, because they're going to have a prolific passing game. I guarantee you they're going to have a prolific passing game. Again, Dak Prescott will probably throw up 23 to 28 times. That's pretty much what you want. 23 to 28 times, which will probably leave you somewhere around 30 to 35 runs. It'll probably be balanced. But don't be surprised. There may be some games where we're more passes than runs. You don't just come out. You don't just necessarily come out to just say, okay, we can run the ball. We're going to just run the ball down every team's throat, which you're still going to run the ball. But, man, if you got a team that's got a weak secondary, well, you're going to take some shots on them too. You're going to take some shots on them. I'm not expecting the Cowboys. I mean, I know everybody's been thinking about, because I've been even seeing people talking about, yeah, man, the Cowboys need to lead with the run. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that. But you got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, Jaden Blue, Gavontae Turpin, Ferguson. I'm not saying throw the ball 40 times, because I still say the magic number is around 25 to 28. But you do need to put it up about 25 to 28 times. Now, I won't be mad if we have some of them games where we only put it up 20 times and we beat the brakes off a team. But you're going to have to put the ball up some. And Brian Schottenheimer, man, I'm telling you, this dude does not mind looking at what's working in the NFL and copy it. He will copy it. He's not stubborn when it comes to his playbook, guys. He is not stubborn like some people are. Now, Brian will look around and see what's working and say, hey, let's put that wrinkle in our plays too. Let's put that wrinkle in our game plan. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, I will not be surprised. And again, he said Dak Prescott is going to play elite level football. That isn't handing the ball off all the time. elite level football isn't handing the ball off even, 70% of the time. No, elite level football means we're going to get some quality over quantity. And we are going to put the ball up in the air. Boy, especially since we got George Pickens. You better believe they're going to put this ball up in the air. But again, I could see us doing more runs. Like I said, probably somewhere around 35 to 25, something like that. 35 to 25, maybe even 50-50. But we'll see how it goes. I'm very interested to see how the scheme goes. John Sparks said, I think the second trade Jerry is hinting at, if there is a big second trade, is cornerback. We need one. I would just bring in Gilly. I think they could bring in Gilly because I really do think you just need to solidify that cornerback room, even if you're just solidifying it for this year. Go in the draft and get another cornerback again. And just continue to work on getting younger. Unless there's just really that player that you can, if you can get that player and get that deal, well, get that player and get that deal. King Juanito, what's going on? He said, I think the Cowboys, all they need is a defensive tackle. See, and King Juanito, this is kind of where I am. I think they could I think with what they have, they can be competitive. But if they were really talking about winning now, I would probably prioritize the cornerback position. Because, again, I said this last year, man, when you start playing some of these good teams, they eat pressure. Unless you're getting the quarterback on the ground, unless you're getting sacks, unless you're getting hits on the quarterback. And that's why I want to see where we are. Are we just going to get pressure again? Or this year, are we going to get sacks? Because some people talk about quarterback pressure. I talk about the result of the pressure. Don't tell me the quarterback was just running around for his life. Tell me the quarterback was on the ground. Tell me you sacked him 5 times. Tell me you got tipped balls. Tell me you forced him to throw an interception or 2. Tell me you got 1 strip sack fumble. What is the result of the pressure? Are you forcing errors? Are you forcing errors? Are you forcing turnovers? Are you getting sacks? Are you getting those things? Or are you just got him running around all day long? Because on some of these quarterbacks, they run around all day long on you and just drop dimes on you on the run. And then we come out of that game talking about, yeah, man, you see how many quarterback pressures they got. Did you notice we lost the game? It ain't good enough. I talk about the result of the pressure. Now, that's what we gotta focus on is, okay, will we be able to get these quarterbacks on the ground this year? And I know why we want the one tech, because we want to stop the run. And I think we're saying that we don't think Mozzie is enough. We want some insurance. I'm just not sure if the Cowboys. I just think the Cowboys want Mozzie to make a step. That's what I think. Y'all tell me what you think. I think the Cowboys want Mozzie to make a step. Yeah, Warren Duncan, he said, I'd be happy with Alexander, another good tackle. Yeah. Yeah, and again, I just think everybody is saying, we're saying this without saying it. We don't trust Mozzie Smith. we don't trust him. We don't trust him. We're saying we don't trust him. That's all. I think that's what we're saying. Boy, Maffa, let me tell you something. Man, I think he's a better DeMarco Murray. Man, I think he may turn out to be a better DeMarco. And DeMarco Murray was crazy for 2 years, man. Hey, King Juanito. Sam Williams said he coming back with a vengeance this year. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. Sam Williams said he coming back with a vengeance. Yeah, Warren Duncan, he said we want to win too, bro. It's been too long. I think that's what the Cowboys are saying. I agree with you, Warren Duncan. I think the Cowboys are saying that now. I think Jerry is saying, okay, we got a good foundation in place, but I want to win too. I want to win too. I want to, if we could catch a genie, because you think about it. No one had the Washington Commanders in the NFC Championship game. Nobody. Nobody had the Philadelphia Eagles. winning the Super Bowl, even as late as mid-season. We saw Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown bickering, and everybody's like, boy, this is this and that, and they're going to fire the coach and blah, blah, blah. Oh, Kellen Moore ain't this, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. I think Jerry is saying, okay, I know what we're doing. We're going to be ready 26 and 27. We're going to be ready to get this thing really going, but let's put together a team that's good enough just in case. You never know who gets injured. We got injured last year. Maybe it'll be another team's year next year. Because I said you need a team. You need the trenches. You need a good team. And you need luck. Everybody needs luck to win the Super Bowl. Man, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes there's a team that's more dominant than you, and they get a significant injury. And lo and behold, you don't even have to play that team in the playoffs. Or when you play them, you walk right over them. You need luck too. And Jerry is saying, I think him and his team, they're saying, just in case we get lucky, we may find ourselves in position to do A, B, C, or D. Man, let's have a team just in case. John Wick, what's up? John Wick said, hell to the Commanders. I see you. Appreciate that super chat. Man, no one thought they were going to be in the NFC Championship game. Sometimes things shake down a certain way. Dan Quinn was even smart enough. I want to win the last game. Because if we win the last game, he believed we could get right to the NFC Championship game by avoiding these teams right here. That's what he did. So it seems like to me the Cowboys now are saying, hey, man, let's put together, hey, we got some good young pieces. I kind of like what we're looking like. I mean, if you look on paper, and again, I already did this, but I showed this team on the screen. If you look at this team versus the 2023 team that had 12 wins, this team is better. Even with us saying we need a cornerback, man, we're still better than that team. Even with us saying we need a one tech, man, we better than that 2023 team. Dan Quinn would not be complaining about this defense in 2023. This defense right here, Dan Quinn would have said thank you. Dan Quinn would have said, with this defense right here, I'm going to the Super Bowl. With this defense right here, I'm going to the Super Bowl. This defense, as much as we're saying it needs a cornerback and a defensive tackle, man, this defense is way more talented than Dan Quinn's 2023 defense. Dan Quinn didn't even have a linebacker on the roster, man. Didn't even have a linebacker on the roster. Man, he was in that thing with Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Man, could you imagine in 2023, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezraku, Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon? Man, this defense is already, again, we can roll with what we have, and we're going to be competitive. Probably win some of those games that you probably think we're going to lose. But I do understand what everybody's saying. But I also say we got to understand what we're saying too. So y'all tell me this. So let's say you go out and get a one tech, right? What are you telling Mozzie Smith? What are you telling Mozzie Smith? What are you telling him? So you go out and get a one tech. What are you telling Mozzie Smith? Do you sit Mozzie Smith on the bench? What are you saying to Mozzie Smith? Because this is a concern. Because if you go out and get a one tech, because I know we're all saying we want somebody better than Mozzie. So what are we saying? Do we want Mozzie Smith in some kind of do we want him in a rotation? Or do we want a backup? Daniel M. talked about bringing in Jeffrey Simmons. So you bring in Jeffrey Simmons. What are you saying to Mozzie? I mean, I'm sure that the Cowboys are thinking about this. And all of us talking about bringing in a one tech. What are we doing? What are we doing? Because we're sending a message. We're sending a message. Because you bring in Buckner. You bring in Simmons. Who starts? Them or Mozzie? Because to me, if you bring in one of those types of players, you might ought to consider trading Mozzie Smith. And I don't know, that kind of puts you back where you were before. So do you get a Jeffrey Simmons? Do you get a DeForest Buckner? Do you go get a one tech? What is that saying to Mozzie Smith? Young player. What are you doing for his psyche? What are we doing for his psyche if we do that? Because I can tell you right now, if you go get if you go get a one tech, I just don't know what that means. I just don't know what that means for Mozzie. Jerry Garcia, he said even Flus don't give he don't give a doggone about Mozzie was drafted in the first round. He said that basically even Flus don't care about Mozzie being drafted in the first round. Well, hey, Jared, that's what you're saying then. Because I'm telling you, if you go and get that one tech, what are you saying? What are you saying to Mozzie Smith? And I'm not sure the Cowboys want to say that to Mozzie. Because it sounds like to me, everybody, okay, are we wanting insurance? Are we saying we want somebody just to back up Mozzie Smith? Or are we saying we want somebody to come in and rotate with Mozzie Smith in case he's not good enough, he can even start over Mozzie Smith? What are we saying? Which one are we saying? Oak Cliff, he said Williams on notice, Fowler's a vet. Okay, what are we saying? Y'all tell me what we're saying about Mozzie. You go out there and get that one tech, what are you saying? Do you want to back up? Are we saying we want a backup, or are we saying we want a rotational? Which one are we saying? Y'all tell me in the chat. Let me see what you're writing here. Yeah, we already know 12 or 13 only get you to the playoffs. Yeah, the question is whether Dak panics in the playoffs. I don't think Dak will panic. I don't think Dak will panic in the playoffs if the Cowboys continue on the trajectory they're on. See, I want you to think about this. I don't know. No, I've never heard no other team do this. I've never heard any other team put as much pressure on their quarterback as Jerry Jones put on Dak Prescott. Yeah, we're going to go as far as Dak Prescott take us. I've never heard another coach say that. I've never heard another coach say that. And when you go back and look at these playoff games, the playoffs is where we find out we're really not as good as we thought we were. Green Bay showed us in 2023. We thought our stuff didn't stink. We rolled up in a home game, no linebackers, one wide receiver, could barely run the ball. And we were just basically saying, but we're at home, man. We're 12-5. Green Bay Packers are what, 9-8 or 10-7 or whatever they were. 9-8, I believe it was. Oh, we're going to beat them just because. Really? See, we keep saying Dak is getting exposed in the playoffs. Dak isn't getting exposed. The Dallas Cowboys are getting exposed. And then we take Dak in the games talking about it's Dak or bust. How about we not go into another playoff game saying Dak or bust? How about we go into a playoff game for a change saying, hey, man, we can run the ball. Yeah, we can run the ball if we want to. We can settle Dak. We can settle Dak in. We got wide receivers that are good enough that if we want to go down the field and do a 12-play drive, we want a team that's good enough to say, yeah, we'll do that too. And then we'll get you on play action. Then we'll get us some chunk plays in the game. We can get our tight end down the seam. We're multifaceted to where we don't put all the pressure on Dak Prescott. Man, you got to make every play. No, we got playmakers. playmakers. You go into a game like that, you got to think about how comfortable. People talk about how cool and, how good that how good Jalen Hurts is in the clutch. How cool would you be with the team Philadelphia had last year? How cool would you be? How cool would you be knowing that you have the best defensive line in football? How cool would you be? How cool would you be knowing you have the number one defense in football? The number one team against the run in football. How would you feel? How comfortable would you feel? Your defensive backfield, your linebackers. I mean, your defense is just crazy. How comfortable do you think you feel? Not only that, but you got one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. How comfortable would you feel? Your offensive line is pretty good, but to top it off, you not only have the best running back in the league, you have the most explosive player in the league. Saquon Barkley last year was the most explosive player in the league. How comfortable would you feel? How do you think Dak Prescott would feel if he had a running back in the backfield that on any given play, he could just hand it off to him? He hits the hole and he hits his head on the goalpost with a 65-yard run. How comfortable do you think Dak Prescott would feel? But we put Dak Prescott in games going, okay, we don't take Dak Prescott in the playoffs saying, okay, Dak, this is what you have. You know what we say? Okay, this is what we don't have. We don't have another wide receiver. We don't have a running game. We can't stop the run. But because we're paying Dak Prescott so much money, this is the argument I've heard for years about Dak Prescott. Well, he's getting paid all that money. All that money don't guarantee nothing. All that money tells us is that you're good. That's all that money tells us. But when we look at Howie Roseman and what he did for Philadelphia, Howie Roseman is the one who is really telling people, you want to win championships? Pay your quarterback and put players around him. Pay your quarterback and put players around him. And pay all the players early. Don't get into contract disputes. Pay them early. Extend them even when you don't have to. Extend them when their deal isn't even up. Pay them early. That's how you do it. We're finally getting Dak Prescott to the point. I think we're really coming full circle with Dak Prescott. I think when Dak was drafted in 2016, I bet you when Dak looks back on it, he probably didn't realize how good he really had it. Because that team was really Tony Romo's team. That 2016 team that Dak Prescott played on in his rookie season, it was a mixture of young players, him, Zeke, with some very good veterans. Dez, Witten, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick. I mean, they had a very good mix of older players. The defense still wasn't that good. But again, that team did have, it was like that team, though, it still had some weapons on it, especially Zeke. Zeke was insane. Zeke was the Saquon Barkley of that team back then. Team was insane. And it's been hard for the Cowboys to get back to a team even that good. To even get back to a team that good. Because love it, like it, or hate it, their best team was 2016 to me. Their best team was 2016. Even when we had Amari Cooper, during that stretch when we had Amari Cooper, we do realize that wasn't prime CeeDee Lamb. That wasn't prime CeeDee Lamb. I would have loved to have prime CeeDee Lamb. and Amari Cooper. We're getting an opportunity this time that we didn't get before. We have prime CeeDee Lamb and prime George Pickens. Let that sink in our heads. We had prime Amari Cooper, but we didn't have prime CeeDee Lamb. We didn't get prime CeeDee Lamb until Amari Cooper left. George Pickens comes in while it's prime CeeDee Lamb. And George Pickens is in, watch this, contract season, anybody? Oh yeah, this is when you strike while the iron is hot. This is where you strike. And this is one of those reasons why I am not going to be mad. Again, I wouldn't be mad if the Cowboys start bringing in more players. Because with what you have the opportunity to do with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, you got Jaden Blue. You have Phil Maffa. If I were the Cowboys, I would not be opposed to bringing in a Nick Chubb. I would not be opposed to bringing in another running back better than Javonte Williams and Sanders. No, cut him. Man, no holds barred going forward. No holds barred. Hey, man, we only paid you $1 million. Take that $1 million, get on up out of here. We're going to go and get, if this running back is on the market, we're going to bring that running back in. If we can get this defensive tackle, everybody's keep talking about defensive tackle. I would not bring in a defensive tackle. I'm not bringing in one for insurance. See, I think we want insurance. I'm not bringing in a defensive tackle for insurance. I don't want a defensive tackle for insurance. If I want a defensive tackle for insurance, I'm rolling with Mozzie. I'm not getting a one tech. I just don't think like other people. I paid Oso Digizua for a reason. I want Mozzie Smith to make another step. But if I don't think Mozzie can make that step, I'm not bringing in insurance as a backup. No, I'm bringing in somebody to compete with Mozzie Smith. I'm bringing in somebody that can beat Mozzie Smith even. Because what does insurance get us? What good does it bring in somebody who is not as good as Mozzie Smith? What does that even do for us? I mean, we're talking about this one tech stuff. I don't understand what it gets us unless we're talking about bringing in somebody better than him. Because if you're not bringing in somebody better than Mozzie, it don't make sense to me. Because I'm basically going to try to shoot Mozzie Smith's, I'm going to shoot Mozzie Smith's confidence and I'm basically saying, hey, man, we don't think you're good enough. Oh, we're going to bring in some insurance. Well, what are you bringing that in for? So you're saying the insurance who's not as good as me is actually going to be good? No. If I'm going to get the one tech, no, I'm going to get the one tech to take Mozzie's spot. I'm not getting a one tech talking about, yeah, he going to be the insurance. No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, youngster, I agree with you. That's why I've already brought up. I want Wanye Thomas and I want Bell and Wanye Thomas to take over his safeties. That's what I want. Our safeties were terrible last year. Now, we'll see what they look like with this new coaching staff, but they were terrible last year. But the thing with the safeties, I think we got the replacements on the team. But then that also means we need to go get some depth in case we get let go of those two. Turgay, he says, I do not like the Cowboys' O-line. I hope it will be better this season. Dak is like paper. We need to protect him. Again, let's put our roster back up there. Turgay, now tell me what part you don't like. Because I like the middle. Tyler Smith, Cooper BB, Tyler Booker. I like it. I like the middle of the line. I think the only questions are Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele was getting tore up there, especially towards the beginning of the season. Some say he made some steps towards the end. But I don't think the Cowboys can afford to let Tyler Guyton go beyond 2 to 3 games and getting beat like he was last year. And again, where this dude gets beat is his feet. He's got the strength and the power. He just don't have the quick feet. And you got to have quick feet. You got to have good hands to play left tackle. And he didn't show that last year. So, to me, this is where the Cowboys have got to really make the decision fast. Left tackle and right tackle. Because I'm going to tell us now, it's going to be a long season if Guyton and Steele or like anything like they were last year in the beginning. It's terrible. It was absolutely terrible how they started out. So we're going to see with Guyton. We're going to see. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, he said Williams need to keep his nose clean and perform. He said he is. According to Sam Williams, Oak Cliff Rockefeller, Sam Williams said he is going to perform. Said he can't wait for the season. We're going to see. Joe Smith, Nealon and Zarako our future unless Sam Williams goes off this season. Nealon is our new DeMarcus Lawrence. Nealon is our new DeMarcus Lawrence. Ezaraku is our pass rusher to be opposite of Michael Parsons. We got a great combination. Sam Williams, he going to get his opportunity. But I don't think that leash is going to be too long. Ezaraku is a technician. He crazy with it. Ezaraku is crazy with it. I'm telling you. Cowboys Nation 808, he says, don't you guys wish Dallas could have rewound and give Mozzie pick back? Cowboys Nation. I wonder if people wish they could give the Tyler Guyton pick back. Boy, a lot of people will question that Tyler Guyton pick. That Tyler Guyton pick may be one of those picks where the Cowboys try to be smarter than everybody in the room. I think a lot of people are starting to question that Tyler Guyton pick. So, again, we don't even know what Tyler Guyton's going to be. The middle, I'm good. But left tackle and right tackle, it's question marks. It's question marks. It really is. Now, I do believe Austin Richards could step up into the left tackle position. Tyler Guyton could rotate over to the right tackle position. I'd like to even see if Brock Hoffman could compete at another position. Because we know Brock Hoffman, no matter what Brock Hoffman does, I don't even think they would let him beat out Tyler Booker. He's not going to replace Cooper Beebe. But the issue is Brock Hoffman is a dog. He's not taking the spot of Tyler Smith. But maybe he tries to battle at right tackle. Maybe he battles over there. Because I'm just telling this man, Tyler Guyton, boy, we got to really be doing some praying and hoping on Tyler Guyton. Because I'm telling you, as much as people talking about he took some steps and they believe he's going to be better, do we understand how much better he has to be? Boy, we're not talking about no step. Bro, you left tackle. Left tackle, man, we ain't talking about a step, bro. You need to take strides. Lead time, he said, man, put Blue at starter if he's ready. Don't want to waste time like they did with Tony. Oh, no, he's going to be a starter, but I think the way they're going to play him, I think they're going to play him as a multi-purpose back. I think he's going to be a part of the passing game and the run game. The guy who I want them to develop faster is Phil Maffa. I don't want to waste no carries. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm trying to work Phil Maffa into the starting position. I'm trying to work him into the starting position. Because, again, I think Jaden Blue is going to be all over the place. He's going to be all over the place. He's a very dynamic player. Texas uses him in a similar fashion. Texas uses him out of the backfield, passes out of the backfield, run out of the backfield. Yeah, he's an incredible player. I think the Cowboys are going to immediately put him to work because of his speed and his quickness. Turkey. He said the Cowboys' offensive line is like jelly. I think the middle is great. I think our question is at left tackle and right tackle. I can't believe more people aren't questioning it yet. I think our issue is left tackle and right tackle. We got to see what that is. I'm very concerned about our left tackle and right tackle position. Very, very, very concerned. And I think we all need to be concerned. All need to be concerned. Daniel M., he says, now if the Cowboys got Jerry Alexander for like a fifth in a trade, that would be a nice like an appetizer, but not the sexy move we would want. Yeah. Yeah. It says right here, just looking at the wire, it says that the Ravens and the Chiefs or competing for Jair Alexander trade opportunity. Cowboys, I don't even think is in that. Yeah, I don't even think the Cowboys are in that discussion. Ravens and Chiefs. That's what it's saying right now. But again, I'm telling you, at the cornerback position, I just really wonder. The Cowboys may be having visions of sugar plums dancing in their head, because I think they may be thinking about maybe we get Deron Bland, Savon Revel Jr., and Trayvon Diggs on the field at the same time at some point this year. Maybe Kyer Elam turns out to be that nickel corner. Maybe Israel Muakamu. Maybe he turns out to be that nickel corner. Kalen Carson. Josh Butler was looking like a crazy Netflix story. I mean, I think the Cowboys may be having visions of sugar plums as far as the cornerbacks go, if they can get these guys healthy. But if I were the Cowboys, I would not be banking on that. If I were the Cowboys, if I was advising their front office, I think that I just think that Stephon Gilmore solidifies the room immediately. I'd bring in Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore solidifies the room immediately. Not only does he solidify the room, he fixes it where if Trayvon Diggs comes back healthy, trade him. Because I don't think he plays past this year for the Cowboys. Stephon Gilmore would give you the room to trade him. Now, if you're going to try to ride with Stephon, you're going to try to ride with Trayvon Diggs when he comes back. I could see that too. But, boy, you're taking a chance because he might not be back to midseason. So that would mean that Kyer Elam, in my estimation, Kyer Elam would have to be the one that really stepped up. Because the Cowboys could probably move Deron Bland inside, waiting on they could probably move him inside and let Kyer Elam play outside. I mean, they really got options here, but man, I'm just telling you. The Cowboys can roll with what they have and still be competitive. But if they're in win now mode, yeah, they're going to have to go get a couple more players. Yeah, I'll have to admit, they are going to have to go get a couple more players if they're in win now mode. Young star, y'all have to realize Dak is basically undefeated with a run game. Yeah. And Dak's going to be great this year. He will be absolutely great this year. They are going to run the ball. Let's see here. Boy, Jared, let me tell you something. People do not understand the reputation that John Elway had before Terrell Davis. People do not understand the reputation John Elway had. A lot of people were saying John Elway is great, but man, John Elway, he can't necessarily win the big game sometimes. Boy, that dude got Terrell Davis, Jared Garcia. Let me tell you something. For about 2 seasons, shoo, man, I'd never seen a running back in my life like Terrell Davis for those 2 years. Terrell Davis had to be one of the most dominant running backs I'd ever seen in my life for 2 seasons. 2 seasons. He was insanity. He really was. But again, just looking at that Cowboys roster, y'all tell me, man, I'm about to bring this conversation up. Because for all these people who keep saying the Cowboys need a one tech, and I'm not arguing that they don't need a one tech. What I'm wondering is, are you wanting a backup one tech? Or are you saying that Jay Toia isn't good enough to back up Mozzie Smith? Or are we wanting a one tech that if Mozzie isn't good, he takes Mozzie's spot? Because those are 2 different things to me. Those are 2 different things. If we're saying we want one because we're not confident in Jay Toia, okay, I can see that. I'm just wondering if we're saying we want one because we're saying we're not confident in Mozzie Smith. I'm also wondering that. Y'all tell me which one are we talking about? Are we wanting somebody just as a backup, or are we wanting somebody that can compete? I'm really wondering this when we talk about this one tech. Lee Time, he said, you want it, G. Appreciate you. I mean, I'm wondering. Y'all tell me in the chat. What are we saying when we want the one tech? Mozzie competition? Or we're saying Joe Toia is not good enough? Which one is it? Oak Cliff Rockefeller, he said depth 2 and hand for defensive tackle. Okay. Turjay said you gave away Dowdle and got Javonte. Turjay, let me tell you something. You know why the Cowboys got rid of let Rico go? The Cowboys didn't want to pay that much for a running back. The Cowboys didn't want to pay that much for a running back. They basically got these 2 running backs for the price of Rico Dowdle. But again, I don't know if these running backs are gonna last. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if neither one of these running backs were on the team. I think if the Cowboys have an opportunity to get better at running back, I think in the short term they'll get better. Okay, so Robert says Mozzie can't do it by himself. He needs some help at one tech. Okay, so you're saying we want a rotational guy. So we want a rotational guy. So, okay, I want to get to the bottom of it, Robert Simmons. So you're saying we want a rotational guy because we don't believe Mozzie. Now, we don't believe that Jay Toia is good enough to be in a rotation with Mozzie. Is that what we're saying? But I also think we're saying, even though we don't want to say the quiet part out loud, I think we also want somebody in case Mozzie ain't good. I know somebody's saying this. Because as much as we're saying that he going to take a step, shoo. Okay, we'll see. Joe Smith says Steele sucks. He says Steele might be better at guard. And the problem is they went and got a right guard. King Juanito, he says we have Mozzie, Solomon Thomas, Jay Toia, and Justin Rogers and Osa. I like those 5 as defensive tackles, especially Osa. Jay and Mozzie just forgot the lineup. I just hope they can stop the run. I think this is where people are concerned, King Juanito. I think they're concerned about us stopping the run. I've been saying already, I think Solomon Thomas is going to be absolutely great for us. But I think people are concerned that we can't stop the run. And I think people are concerned because if you look at Jay Toia's scouting report, one of the things they say about him is if he's in front of you, he got you. But if you run, if you start running side to side, they say that's where he kind of falls off the boat. Solomon Jernigan, what's going on? He said Mozzie and Schoonmaker was 2 Michigan busts. Boy, man. Yeah. Yeah, the Michigan. But again, Schoonmaker showed some flashes. People say Mozzie showed some flashes. We'll see what happens this year. Let's see here. Let me go down a little further. Yeah, I mean, again, I believe the Cowboys could roll with what they have. But if they really want to be competitive, they probably need to tweak it. Mozzie is going to be a pro bowler this year with 8 sacks. Derek Grimsley. So Derek Grimsley, tell me in the chat. So would you get if you got another one tech, so are you getting him because you're not confident in Jay Toia, or are you getting him to rotate with Mozzie Smith? Which one are you doing? Joe Smith said, no way he gets 8 sacks. Joe says it's impossible. Woo, boy, y'all tell me. Ignacio, he said, G, you're outstanding. He said, God bless you and your content you provide us with, brother. He said, I appreciate you. He said, we definitely can get more firepower. Nacho from Bay Area. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Slim, Lamb, Pickens, and Mingo. It's a solid 3. Yeah. Hey, Slim, I really want these guys to compete. I would love for Mingo to work himself to a 2.5. I would love for Jalen Tolbert to really be that solid 3. I really would. Yeah. Oak Cliff Rockefeller said, Brother Pastor G, he said, you really comfy with our current roster without additional vets in the running back room. Again, if we are trying to say we want to win now, Oak Cliff Rockefeller, if I were the Cowboys, if I say I'm trying to win now, I would be looking to get Nick Chubb. I would. If I can get him cheap, yeah, I'm bringing in Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is way better than Javonte Williams, and we ain't going to even talk about Sanders. I just think Nick Chubb is better than them. Because what my goal would be working Phil Maffa into the starting position and then letting Nick Chubb just kind of be a change of pace back for him. Hey, okay, we're going to have 9. Let's say we're going to have 9 possessions. Nick Chubb, you'll probably get 3 of those. Phil Maffa will get 6 of those. And then depending upon down and distance and kind of where we are in the, how far we progress with Phil Maffa, maybe 1 or 2 of y'all come in specialty plays and get an additional touch here or there. That's kind of where I would be. But yeah, I'm comfortable if they're trying to compete. If we're saying the team is going to be better, but if we're saying we in win now mode, we need to do some. I would say wherever you can get a player that's better than the player you have, and you can get them at a reasonable price, man, I say bring in Nick Chubb. Shoot, bring him in. Bring him in. Cornerback, Stephon Gilmore. I just think Stephon Gilmore solidifies the room for us. Safety, I'd make the change with Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas. If I want another one tech, then I'm going out here and I'm looking for a rotational piece. I'm just telling Mozzie up front. All right, man, you playing good, but we need a little bit more. I want you to fight it out. We need more. We're gonna bring somebody in here to rotate. Fight it out. I would. Troy Williams says one tech is the one priority you can please. One priority. Can you please give us an available defensive tackle? Again, I'm going to tell you, Troy. One, we probably need to wait to post June 1st. We need to see what is going to be out there. And I think that's probably what the Cowboys would do. But see, you think about this. I think we're in a very weird predicament, Troy. This is why I keep asking this question. I really do think we're in a weird predicament. I think we're in a weird predicament because are you saying you want somebody to compete with Mozzie Smith, or are we saying we want somebody to back up Mozzie Smith? Because I think the Cowboys like Mozzie Smith and they want to roll with Mozzie Smith. I think they do. I think they want to roll with him. I do. Let's look and see who are the available defensive tackles. And again, I would say the defensive tackle, like I said about wide receiver, I think the defensive tackle that you want is on somebody else's team. But you're doing that with Mozzie Smith? Because it seemed like to me the Cowboys want Mozzie Smith. They want Mozzie Smith. So, you look at these guys that are available in free agency. I mean, what? You got Raquan Davis. Let's see if we can nail it down like this. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can nail it down. Let's see. I was trying to see if we could nail it down by one tech defensive tackles that remain. That's what I was trying to see. They don't break it down. I don't see anything where they break it down like that. But again, we have to ask ourselves, what are we wanting to do? What are we wanting to do? How are we going to do this with the one tech? I mean, Kanan, he said, if Tyler Guyton doesn't pull his weight this season, we're drafting an offensive tackle next season. Well, you got Austin Richards. And maybe you do still, see what you can do. But Austin Richards is there. Maybe you give him the opportunity, or somebody said move Ty Smith to left tackle. Yeah, Aaron Wesley, I'm with you. Again, I think Bell and Thomas can take their spot easy. Kitty boy, Mozzie's going to be fine. Having him lose weight. Yep, I mentioned this. He lost weight his rookie season, gained it his sophomore season. Now he should be back to normal. Having him lose weight his rookie year didn't make sense. I think he's going to show up this year. Yeah, I think he is too. Uh-oh. Patrick says Toia will start. Whoa, okay. Derek Grimsley. Gee, I'm not getting a defensive tackle. I'm going and getting a corner. I really think corner is probably where they need to go. Again, I think they could roll with what they have at defensive tackle. I think they can roll with it. Unless somebody is saying they don't think Mozzie Smith is going to be up to par. If you don't think Mozzie's going to be up to par, well, I guess you would want that, but I'm not sure that's what Jerry and them want. I think Jerry and them want Mozzie to be successful. They like Mozzie Smith, man. They really do. They like them some Mozzie Smith. They do. Derek Grimsley, guys, we're going to stop the run. Relax. Hey, Derek, I'm so ready to get this on the field. I think we'll feel a lot better. I think we can feel a lot better when we get them on the field. I think we'll feel a lot better when we get them on the field. Turjay, he said, you can stay positive, brother. I'm not accusing you for not being a Cowboys fan because you stay super positive. Either we change our quarterback, which is not likely. It should be okay to ask for better. Now, we're not changing the quarterback. We don't even need to talk about the quarterback. We're not changing him unless he goes down, and then we on to the next. Yeah, we're not changing quarterbacks. But our quarterback isn't the problem. Our quarterback isn't the problem. If there's one position where we know we're fine, it's the quarterback. If Dak Prescott is healthy, we'll get to where we get. But if we put a team around Dak Prescott, I promise you, we're getting further. We're getting further. If we put the team around Dak, we're getting further. Ignacio, we're not. What are you hearing? We ain't done getting free agency. Talk to me. Looks like they're still searching. The Cowboys' names, and where there's smoke, there is fire. The Cowboys' names keeps coming up in some of these free agency conversations. Now we know they've done it in the past too. It seems like they also do that sometimes to bring attention to players. But I do think, based on what we're hearing, Cowboys may be looking for some more players. I think we may not hear anything else. I kind of agree with Brian Broaddus. I'll be shocked to hear anything else before June 1st. I think they're going to take a break now because you really do need to see there will be players cut June 1st. There will be rumors coming out about players being cut. I think if the Cowboys see an opportunity to improve the team, they're going to do it. Robert Simmons, okay, I got you. So, in other words, Robert, you don't think Jay Toia in his rookie season, I can feel what you're saying. You're saying he's not good enough, you feel, to be that backup for Mozzie Smith. Okay, I feel you on that. I feel you on what you're saying there. Yeah, I feel what you're saying. Young Star, y'all run game, I think it's going to be off the chain. Warren Duncan, okay, Tyler Smith, yeah, leave him where he is. I feel what you're saying. We just got to make sure Tyler Guyton is going to be what he is. Dees Ortiz, it's not Mozzie, but it's the depth. Okay, I got you. All right. Now that's making sense. That's making sense. Okay, everybody wants some depth. They want, because we're not confident in Jay Toia. I got you. Morris Newton, they need a tank for running back. Phil Moff is a tank. Watch the tape on him. He crazy. Kevin Howard, he said, bring in a defensive tackle to help because I'm sure B go get a cornerback. Yeah, I see where. Okay, I just want to make sure where everybody was on this thing with Mozzie Smith. So we're confident that Mozzie is going to make a step. We're saying that Jay To'Aya isn't good enough to back him up. Okay, I feel what we're saying now. I feel what we're saying. Derek Grimsley said, who is going to step in this quarter? Man, let me tell you, Derek Grimsley. Man, we don't even know if Joe Milton going to be. I'm just telling people about Will Grier. Man, people did the same stuff last year with Trey Lance. And we can see where the Cowboys want to go in the future. It seems like in the future, the Cowboys want a bigger quarterback, I guess. They look like they're looking for one of these 6'5" guys or something, because Donovan Smith is 6'6" and Joe Milton is 6'5". But the Cowboys are locked in. Cowboys are locked in Derek Grimsley on Dak Prescott. This is why they're doing a lot of stuff they're doing. Rock One Davis, okay. Okay, Rock One Davis. Let's see. Okay. We'll see if the Cowboys get him in. Yeah, we'll see if they get him in. But again, you think about this, Mike McCain, they might have better options after June 1st. This is why I think they're going to wait. They may have better options after June 1st to really see, if they can really bring in some more stuff. Because I'm telling you, they're going to have an opportunity June 1st. Andrew Nichols Jr., he said, I'm ready to go. Cowboys, yes, sir. Daniel, he said, if the Cowboys go get Jeffrey Simmons in a trade and trade for Jerry Alexander, or maybe sign him after June 1st, me and G are going to do backflips. Hey, man, if they do this, they telling me they in win now mode for sure. Morris Newton, I was saying earlier, he said, should we trade Diggs for April like an offensive tackle? Nobody's going to trade for him until they see what he is. Yeah, Diggs got to get back in before they even think about it. Troy Williams. He said, I want Mozzie replaced. He might be better this year, but he will not be able to start a defensive tackle and stop the run. Nothing in his past has proven he can do that consistently. Whoa. Okay. And, the Cowboys in a predicament, and I don't mean that in a bad way. They're in a predicament with three of their players. Mozzie Smith, Tyler Guyton, Terrence Steele. Because everybody's hoping Terrence Steele turns it around. Hoping Tyler Guyton is better. Hoping Mozzie Smith takes a step. What if they don't? What if they don't, and how long do you wait? Because we cannot do what we did last year. We can't wait. D. Ortiz, year 3 is historically when all one techs take their biggest steps. Here we go. This is what everybody's saying. That's where they get that grown man string. Yep. And again, D, I think what set Mozzie back, though, is Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn making him lose the weight set him back. That's like taking a heavyweight boxer. That's like taking a heavyweight boxer and saying, we want you to go down to middleweight and then expecting him to be as effective. No, you can't do that. Yeah, Mike McCain, that's what I think too. June 1st is really going to go down. We might be letting go with some of the people we already signed with the June 1st rolls around, because there's going to be some really big names around at that point. That's what I believe too, Mike McCain. And that's why I believe it's in the Cowboys' best interest. Don't make another move. Don't make another move unless something falls in your lap or something that's too good to let go. You do that, or you wait to June 1st. Hey, I'm telling you, Daniel Liam, that George Pickens trade, boy, that Joker trade, that changed a lot of people's mind about Jerry. Yeah, Kevin Howard, Dak is not the problem. Yeah, we don't even need to talk about Dak. He fine. Yeah, we're gonna win with Dak too. Solomon, he says coaches can get the most out of these young players by giving the small roles, especially the later rookie class. Yes, sir, I agree with you. Derek Grimsley, he said Guyton was a reach. Boy, Boy, I think a lot of people had that same sentiment, Derek. But the Cowboys want to be right on him. They want to be right on him. Yes, sir. Year 3. They want to be right on him, though. They want to be right on Guyton, but they can't wait too long. Yep, Morris Newton. Man, you don't take a man from a heavyweight to a middleweight and then think he's supposed to be as powerful. Don't work like that. Don't work like that. And I think Dan Quinn might have messed him up, and he kind of got back last year to his weight. Now he has another year to get back to getting used to playing at his regular weight. Cannon said, "Can you imagine when Diggs and Revel come off the pup list? OMG, duo threat on defensive backs. Well, if they can get DeRon Bland, Trayvon Diggs, Savon Revel Jr., now that is what would be crazy right there. We'll see, though. Solomon Jernigan, I expect Mozzie to play with a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Olsen Simmons will destroy opposing O-lines in the trenches. Yeah. Pickens will definitely improve our red zone offense. Oh, he's going to be crazy. He's going to be crazy, man. He'll be able to get some of those passes that I don't think CeeDee Lamb necessarily wants. I think he'll be able to get some of those. Ignacio, I'm with you. I love our new approach, new energy with our new coaches and Cavalier. Jerry and our boys are getting that edge back, bringing excitement to the fan base. I'm with you. King Juanito, I see a lot of sacks and stops in the backfield. Yeah, I think the defense is going to be crazy. Man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. Y'all make sure you tell your moms you love her tomorrow. And don't just tell her tomorrow. Tell her you love her every day. Dan Quinn wanted smaller guys, yep, to go after the quarterback. Messed Mozzie up. I agree with you. Messed him up, bruh. Alex, appreciate that super chat. Alex said, "Gee, when I discovered your channel with 2,000 subscribers, I knew you'd blow up. You've given fans like me hope to be excited and appreciated." Yes, sir. Appreciate you, my brother. Yes, sir. We're going to keep it going, man. Boy, I can't wait to rock what y'all doing this next coming football season. Boy, it's going to be great. All right. I'm going to get out of here again. Man, y'all make sure you tell your moms again, man. Make sure you tell you love her. Tell her Happy Mother's Day. And don't just do it tomorrow. Do it every day. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit that notification bell. Let's keep growing this channel, man. Y'all the best chat on YouTube. I appreciate y'all rocking with me again. Daniel M., he said, "I always love my mom and grandma on Mother's Day. Those ladies are important to me, and I wouldn't be the man today if it wasn't for them." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm with you. Troy said, "Mozzie, confidence is shot. We can rotate in, but we need proven man in the middle." Yes, sir. Curly Brockman, appreciate that super chat. He said, "We got players to score now. We should focus to stop the run. Defensive tackle, one tech." Yeah, I will not be surprised if they go get one. But again, Cowboys need to go and take them a little bit of break. June 1st. It's going to be plenty of players. It's going to be great. All right, guys. I appreciate you again. Love you, Cowboys Nation. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.